River Parishes Association?
From St. Charles Catholic High School in La Place, Louisiana, high school football and Crescent City Sports is once again on the air. Tonight we have got a good one for you here. Week 1, Friday night of the high school football season. Storylines abound as the Archbishop Shaw Eagles make the trip over to the River Parishes to take on the St. Charles Catholic Comets. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder along with Wade Kaiser. Matt Merritt, our producer this evening. Glad to have Mark Paul on camera with us tonight. Wade, where do we start with this one? Let's start with the home team, St. Charles Catholic. Right. They are the defending Division III champions. Wayne Stein in his first year, with everything this community went through, you can still see it around campus. You can still see it around the La Place community. The effects of Hurricane Ida still 52 weeks later impacting this area. And it's been a hard road back, but one thing that has really helped unite this community and bring them together was the run that this St. Charles Catholic team made a year ago to win a Division III title in Wayne Stein's first year at the helm.
Well, high school football is the great uniter. You can still look around this campus here at St. Charles Catholic, which I'm very familiar with, and you can still see remnants of Ida right here. Let's just take the light post, for example. Still haven't gotten the light post in permanently yet. They have temporary ones that are there to supply the light for the game tonight. And talking to Wayne Stein before the game, they're still feeling some effects on things like getting money to fix certain parts of different areas of the building, should I say, in the school. So, yes, you're right, Lenny. The thing is this area is still recovering from the storm, but like you said, football unites us all.
No doubt about it. On the other sideline, the biggest story of the offseason in high school sports, perhaps, and certainly in high school football in the greater New Orleans area, Hank Tierney goes back to Archbishop Shaw, where he had so much success in the 80s and the 90s. Then left to go to West Jefferson. Then to Ponchatoula, where we thought he was going to retire a year ago as he led the Green Wave to the Class 5A state championship game, but not so fast. When Shaw came calling, he welcomed the opportunity to go back home once more.
Well, talking with Hank Tierney before the game, it's in the water. It's the West Bank water. It's that pipe that feeds to Shaw High School from the West Bank, and it just has that certain quality of bringing back people like Hank Tierney to come back and coach, and he's excited. It's kind of, as he said at the end of last year, that was a tough loss in the state final, Ponchatoula Zachary. He was really worn out. He was tired. He was, well, this is it. I think I'm done. And then all of a sudden he gets that call and he gets a sip of that water on the West Bank. It'll draw you right back in.
Yeah. And, look, he's only been there now less than 8 months, and already we're feeling the impact here. Shaw, of course, the other story with Shaw is they chose to move out of the Catholic League and move down to Class 4A, which is their true enrollment, instead of playing up. And, look, it's – they probably needed to, just based on, competition, based on numbers. It was getting very difficult to compete on a night-in, night-out basis, certainly in football, although they've had some success in basketball. But you've got to believe that with Coach Hank back on the West Bank, things are going to get restored quickly enough where as soon as 2 years from now, we could see Shaw back in the Catholic League again.
Well, the first thing he's going to have to do, and he told me this, is he's got to make sure that the West Bank people stay on the West Bank, right? So, being the only Catholic high school on the West Bank, he needs to make sure that those young men that want a Catholic education go to his institution and they don't cross the river, right? So that's going to be one of his first chores he's got to do. And he'll do that because, like I said, he knows the area, he knows the people, and the people know him. And you already see the the growth in their school.
Yeah, and
he told me
that's
right.
Yeah, they've got record numbers in the eighth
Correct.
grade class. He's got 53 kids out for football in eighth grade.
Exactly.
And remember this, kids had to make decisions on where they were going before Coach Hank came back. And so you're seeing that impact just really on a very short-term opportunity to get back there.
So when you say out of the Catholic League, my bet, if I was a gambling man, is it's temporary.
You got to get the numbers back,
the numbers
clearly,
back,
and they're moving in that direction.
And that's like I said, if I was a betting man, it's a temporary thing because everybody knows Shaw is a Catholic League high school.
No doubt about it. Coin toss at the center of the field. Our referee this evening, Myron Creasy, taking the captains through the process here.
Beautiful night.
Hopefully only have one coin toss this evening. Unlike last night, we had to have two.
Right.
Although, look, we wouldn't complain about that kind of game either. If you weren't with us last night, go back and check it out at CrescentCitySports.com. Jesuit beating Slidell 16-13 in overtime. St. Charles Catholic has won the toss. They are going to defer into the second half, and it's not a surprise as good a defensive coach as Wayne Stein is. So Shaw's going to get the football to start the game, and they're going to be moving left to right as we view it. And look, let's take this into account before we kick off here, Wayne. 14 returning starters for Shaw, 7 on each side of the ball, just 4 for St. Charles Catholic, 2 on offense and 5, 3 on offense, or 2 on offense and 3 on defense. We're going to pause for our invocation, followed by the national anthem here from Thomas Dupuy Stadium at Frank Monica Field here in La Place. Now from applause, our national anthem.
Direct your attention to the flag in the north end zone and join us as we honor our country and our veterans with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight leading us is 2022 SCC graduate Maggie Powell. Maggie is currently a freshman at Loyola University in New Orleans, where she's majoring in mass communications and minoring in musical theater. She is the daughter of the late Glennon Silky Powell and Connie Powell, SCC's Development and Human Resources Director.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the most bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of brave.
Our national anthem from La Place as we get set for football on a Friday night. We had a little bit of light drizzle as we first got here, Wade. That appears to stop. Actually, the sun came out during warm-ups, and It's like a nice night for football.
Beautiful night for football, beautiful facility, beautiful stadium. Again, it's great to have football back in the first week of September here
First time in 3 years.
Right, first time in 3 years. Labor Day weekend football, week one of high school football. It can't get any better than this.
82 degrees at kickoff. Chance of rain is around 10-20% throughout the evening. Winds out of the south-southwest at 3 to 5 miles an hour, so not much of a factor. Lights now on here in Laplace. Now, we thought Shaw was going to go left to right to start things, but it's actually going to be the other way around unless we suddenly get a switch here. St. Charles Catholic lining up at the left 40-yard line as we view it this evening. So they are going to kick this way. Michael Hotard, who you're going to see a lot on defense this evening, also handles a lot of the kicking duties for St. Charles Catholic, and he's going to kick it off, left-footed. Little pooch kick towards the 20-yard line. One of the up men will take it there. Out past the 25, out near the 30-yard line. That looked to be Lewis Foster, one of the defensive backs. Took that one in, and that is where Shaw is going to begin. 29-yard line for the first offensive snap of the second Hank Tierney era at Shaw.
You're going to see a lot of odd front out of St. Charles Catholic tonight. That's Wayne Stein's trademark. He likes the odd front, a lot of 3-3 stack or 3-4 look with a too-high secondary. You're going to see what Shaw's going to bring back is a little bit of the spread option game that Hank likes to run with Frank Alilo coming over from East Jefferson High School.
Jace LaCava is the quarterback. Outstanding athlete. They moved him to quarterback. He'll give it away on first down. That's David Kensey, the running back. Gets a couple, maybe three, on first down.
Kensey had a fine junior year last year in the Catholic League. He's a fine running back.
Give him 2 on first down. It'll be second down 8. The ball at the 31-yard line, just underway. Here from Laplace.
Kensey's got breakaway speed. He's going to be playing at the next level one day, and he's a solid downhill type of guy.
Single back, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end. Once again, it's Kensey. Tries to get the perimeter, does. First down and more. Out near midfield, stiff arm, stays on his feet. Terrific run by Kensey out to the St. Charles Catholic 44-yard line, a gain of 25.
Outside zone stretch. Great job by that Shaw offensive line, getting nice reach blocks, and cutoffs backside. You can see it on your replay. Here comes the downhill stretch. He bounces it outside. Great block out on the edge to spring Kensey into the secondary. And then he runs with authority. Notice how he ducks that shoulder. Doesn't easily just step out of bounds. It's going to take a lot of people to knock that guy out of bounds tonight if he's running down the boundary.
So from the Comet 44, skill personnel looking at the sidelines. Hank Tierney didn't like something and is going to use a timeout. 53 seconds into this one, and
looks like a formation issue. Yeah. Mike Biamani, formerly working at Holy Cross and worked on the staff at Shaw years ago and at Ponchatoula, was the head coach at Ponchatoula before Frank Tierney took over there, is now back reunited at Shaw, handling a lot of the offensive line duties, and it looked like they had the wrong personnel possibly on the field for the play.
Well, talking to Coach Biamani before the game, he had a little divided attention out there. His son Cole, who graduated from Holy Cross a year ago, is a freshman at the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and they're playing their first game tonight. And he was watching the live stream on his phone about an hour before kickoff, before the players got out to warm up. Not doing it now, though. LaCava, kind of a counter keep there, out past the 30-yard line and down to about the 27, make it the 28-yard line. Nice looking play by LaCava, a gain of 16.
Quarterback counter, you got to kick, you got to seal. Quarterback fakes the running back, runs it up inside as a tailback, being the next running back in the backfield. You'll see it right here. Look at the pullers coming into your screen. Bang, bang, here's the seal. Look at the nice hole for LaCava right there, bounces it to the outside. And he's a hard runner, too, to bring down. He lowers that shoulder to get the extra yards. Right now, Shaw's just handling St. Charles Catholic up front.
From the 28.
Everybody's in the check with me.
Yeah, 4 on the play clock here.
Right.
Now they'll go. And that looked like a busted play there. And LaCava had nowhere to go and was brought down in the backfield. Also lost a helmet. I'm not sure if he's got to leave for a play or what. I see a line judge coming in and stopping things. So
Yeah.
Michael Hotard, we talked about him on the kickoff, makes the play. It's a loss of 7, and it's going to be 2nd and long for the Eagles.
Right, Michael Hotard had a great year last year. You know, he came in with 2.5 sacks on the season last year. He had 3 interceptions, 28 tackles in the 2021 campaign in that state run.
And he's listed as a linebacker, but it's really a hybrid position
Yeah.
as they describe it. So he's, going to probably drop some. Who knows? Even lines up and, rushes like he did there. So he could do a lot of different things. And
right, you're gonna see
that
it.
multiplicity is, going to confuse a lot of teams out there. So 2nd and 17, we got a new quarterback in the game for this one snap. It's Mason Wilson, the sophomore. He's going to give it away. And Kenty gets the outside, out past the 25, out to about the 22-yard line. So a big play right there on 2nd down and 17, and now you get back in a 3rd and manageable, Wade.
Ian Arnett had a chance from the secondary. He fit the hole nicely coming up off the edge. Defensive back for St. Charles Catholic, and he just got kind of stepped over right there by Kinsey, who stepped through his arms for a nice pickup with 3rd and what
It's
do we
going to
say,
be about 4 now.
Right,
the ball at
3rd,
the
4.
22. Kinsey already 40 yards rushing on this opening drive.
Well, it's going to be the Kinsey attack, all right? Like I said, he's going to be the guy that's going to be the featured back behind that big offensive line from Shaw. He's Catholic League tested as a running back.
Yeah, 4 wide receivers now on 3rd and 4. Play clock at 3. They'll snap it. This is LaCava, who's going to keep it off the right side, and a 1st down for Shaw as they reach the red zone.
Quarterback draw with a lead blocker by Kinsey right up in there. He takes a step, takes the delay. Nice hole, again, having their way with that defensive line from St. Charles is the Shaw offensive line for a nice pickup.
Oh, we got a flag. Hold on. This is going against the Eagles, or sideline warning against the Eagles. Check that. Sideline warning, first one. 2nd time will be a penalty.
Well, I'm going to say this, but I don't think Hank has ever been warned on the sideline. Tongue in cheek, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those things with the quarterback. You don't you don't account for him in the numbers as you start counting. Whistles. Now we got a sideline warning on St. Charles Catholic, I believe. All right, so we're even now.
There we go.
Next one gets a flag.
Are we keeping that stat? Well, how St. Charles is trying to handle the quarterback running the ball, they've gotten into a 4-man front. They've put another hand down in the dirt right there, and they're playing a 2-high secondary. So what they're going to do with those safeties is move them 8 to 10 in a cover 4 look to try to get them down in the run fits as quickly as they can to be able to get 8 and 9 people in the box fast to account for LaCava running the football.
Right, because Shaw is continuing to spread it out with 3 and 4 wide. New back in the game, it's Caleb Williams. So once again, it's LaCava in the pistol. Fumbled snap on 1st down. It was a low snap and falls on the football, avoiding disaster there. It's a loss of 3.
Well, those are the things you don't want to see. We talked about this last night in week 1. You know, what do you want to get out of week 1? That isn't what you want to get out of week 1. You want to get those questions answered going into the game, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, making sure everything is works as you've planned it in the offseason. But what you don't want are fumbles and bad snaps and penalties and personnel issues.
Right. So 4 wides again now. 2nd down and 13, the ball at the 18-yard line. LaCava swings it out to Caleb Williams. Will get about 8 to the 10. Make it 7 to the 11. They'll put him back at the 11-yard line. So first pass we've seen from LaCava, and it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Push crack on the bubble screen out here by the Shaw wide receiver. There's your crack coming into your screen. The corner, number 20, Jalen Ellsworth was sitting right there off of the edge. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive as he came up to attack the running back to make the stop.
So the line to make is the 5. This is just barely past the 12-yard line right now as we play third down and a long 6. Movement and whistles. And it's a false start against Shaw. So make it third down and 11 from the 16.
St. Charles Catholic switching a lot of personnel in and out. Wayne Stein said he was going to play a lot of kids tonight because he's got to get his questions answered, especially on personnel. So you're going to see a lot of different looks, and they go back to their 3-man front.
Again, the line to make is the 5. LaCava tried to run the little handoff play, and a nice play by Kenzie to make something out of nothing there, and he's near the sticks, but just short of the first down. They tried to run Wade, I guess, effectively a jet sweep there, but out of the backfield with LaCava sprinting out and Kenzie going the other way, and nothing, so he immediately turned around and headed the other way and turned it into something, a gain of 9 on the play, and it's 4th and 2, and it's decision time.
It was designed as what is called the old sprint draw. Sprint out, drop the ball down on a running back sitting right there waiting. Some people sometimes might call it a hideout play.
So 4th and 2, and St. Charles Catholic, Wayne Stein is going to use his first timeout with 7:07 remaining here in the first quarter.
Well, Kenzie makes nothing. Makes a lot out of nothing right there on a very nice play where he bounces it to the outside and puts him in a chance to make a decision here on this 4th down.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, treating more than 30,000 athletes a year with innovative treatments for sports injuries. Visit oxnard.org/sportsmed to learn more. So big play coming up early in this game. 4th and 2, the ball at the 7-yard line.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see number 8 get his hands on the ball.
I don't think it's going anywhere but 8 or 5 right here. It's pretty much the best offense Shaw has had thus far is those two guys in particular. Kenzie, who's got 49 yards on the ground, a bad snap, and all LaCava can do is fall on the football, and the Comets are going to take over on downs.
All right. Well, you got to have some help sometimes as a defense, and they definitely got help there, and those are things that are going to drive Hank nuts right there. You can't get the snap where it's got to be.
Drives any coach nuts, I would think. Not what you wanted to see right there, but St. Charles Catholic gets the stop, and they will take over deep in their own end at the 10-yard line with 7:04 remaining here in the first quarter. Well, it's a smart play by LaCava right there. Don't try to do something. Just fall on it, live for another day.
Well, this St. Charles offense led by Aiden Althamon, who can be a tailback, he can be a quarterback, he can be a wide receiver. He's just an outstanding athlete, and he had a great year last year.
I guess if you got a limited number of returning starters, quarterback's a good place to have one back.
No doubt about it.
661 yards passing, 313 yards rushing a year ago. He's going to keep it on first down. And Althamont will get about 2 on first down.
Quarterback power off tackle. Big question marks, talking to Wayne Stein before the game, is their offensive line. They had to do a little patchwork off of graduation last year to get some kids who had some playing time last year, but now they're going to be playing all the snaps, right? Where last year they might have been just, a few cleanup snaps here, a few cleanup snaps there, and they're really inexperienced. So that's going to be a huge question mark that's going to get answered tonight for Wayne Stein moving forward.
At the 13. Pitch it this time. Room to run on the sideline. That is Devon Sturgis, who's going to get out past the 35-yard line And a big play on the ground for St. Charles Catholic on their second play from scrimmage.
Speed option. Nice pitch by Altamont out to Sturgis, who goes down the boundary. 5'10", 170-pound senior. He had a great year last year. 68 carries, 339 yards with 5 touchdowns. Physical runner, downhill runner.
And a whistle as we have reached the 6-minute mark, and that, as we learned last night, is our hydration break. We'll see that all through September. All right, midway through the first quarter, Wade, your thoughts on what we've seen so far? Anything surprise you?
Well, no, I think, we've got 2 really good football teams here kind of feeling each other out. And we said the same thing last night. Heavyweights trying to figure themselves out in the first couple of rounds and, taking their shots at each other and see who's going to make a mistake. Well, the first mistakes were made by Shaw inside the red zone, right? So we'll see now how things happen for St. Charles Catholic. But, look, you can tell both teams are well prepared, both well coached, both had great off seasons. Their players look physical. They're very fit. So going forward, their kicking game has been solid so far. So, both of these teams, I would expect are going to have outstanding seasons. Hopefully they stay healthy. That's the big key.
Yeah. And look, these are 2 teams. We talked about preseason rankings last night. 2 teams that find themselves in the top 10 in their respective classes in Crescent City Sports preseason rankings. St. Charles Catholic, number 1 in 2A, and deservedly so off of what they did a year ago. Archbishop Shaw is 10th in 4A. Give you an idea of the quick impact that Coach Tierney has had. Plus, moving down in class, I'm sure, is a factor as well. So from the 32, he stepped out earlier. It's a gain of 19 on that last play. Jet sweep this time coming back this way. That is once again Sturgis on the carry and not much doing. Is good pursuit that time by the Eagle defense. A host of white shirts, including Lewis Foster, the safety.
Lewis Foster, watch him come downhill from his safety position right here and destroy this crack block. Right there, bang! Comes up, makes a nice stick right there on that jet sweep. Nice and physical. As I said, they've been tested in the Catholic League, so their physicality should be there, right? And there's a good example of Foster, well coached, coming downhill from his safety position, fitting off the linebacker.
2nd and 9, ball at the 33. First drive of the night for St. Charles Catholic. Pass, first one we've seen, and once again, Sturgis gets the ball in his hands. It's a gain of 2, and it's going to be 3rd and 7.
Well, you're going to want to get the ball in Sturgis' hands. He's the guy that's going to make it happen for St. Charles. Got a flag.
Oh. Pass interference offense. And
all right.
yes, there was a block before the ball was thrown. Now the question becomes, I don't know what the high school rule is on this. If it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, is that still okay or does it matter?
Well, it depends on exactly where the pass interference was. So it's going to be marked off, look like 10 yards.
Actually, it's going to officially be 9. One of those,
Right, one of those. So it should be 10 yards, and they should be replaying the down again.
Yes, 2nd down. Call it 18, the ball officially at the 24-yard line.
Now, here's probably what happened is the ball was passed in front of the line of scrimmage on the screen, and there was blocking downfield by a second receiver before the ball got there. So that's where the interference comes on a lot of those wide receiver screens and bubble screens and things of that nature.
Give it away on 2nd down. The first chance we've had to call Samari Scott's name. He won't get much there as he was tripped up in the backfield, fell forward, but this might be, it'll be a loss of 1 on the play.
He was brought down by Trevor Whitted, defensive lineman, 6'1", 235-pound junior. When Shaw goes to their 4-man front, you're going to see Trevor in there. He becomes the 4th guy in their 8-man front.
It looked like he must have slipped down in the backfield and then continued to run.
Blitz shown in both A-gaps.
Whistles before this one can get underway on 3rd and 19. It's going to be a false start against St. Charles Catholic.
You see those 2 linebackers lined up in the A-gap like that, showing that A-gap stunt? It does something every time. It gets those offensive guys real jittery, right? So they kind of flinch a little bit, move a hand. Running back wants to get there to pick up on the blitz, pick up just a little bit sooner, so he's leaning a little bit forward. That's a result of them showing blitz in that A-gap for those 2 linebackers.
So it's now 3rd down and 24. The line to make is all the way up at the 42-yard line. It's one of those situations you don't want to do anything too crazy out there. And
Shaw showing blitz again. Here he comes.
Arthemont, they're going to throw the screen back the other way. This is Scott. Can't break the tackle. Well defended as the Eagles stayed at home right there. And it's a gain of only about 2.
Shaw brings a gap blitz, all right, by Jerome Boss Victor, who does a nice job getting penetration there. And they also bring a dog blitz off of the edge. They throw, St. Charles had a nice play set up for it. They throw right into the blitz, draw it in, throw it out there in the screen. Very nice job by number 47 right there, Julian Clark, 6'1", 215-pound linebacker chasing that down.
So on 4th down, the first Comet possession is going to end in a punt. Eagles have 2 men deep at the St. Charles 48-yard line. And this is a really good punt. That backs Williams back up to the 40, trying to get to the other side, and he loses a ton of yardage right there. Eagles with a great job on special teams. They may do a better job on special teams going back to the Frank Monica days, as that's Andrew Bosco on the stop there. It's going to be a loss of 10 on the return. Maybe better than anybody in the state, Wade.
Well, Andrew Bosco did a great job staying in his lane. He got there. He came to balance on a really good return guy, which we'll see a lot of this year. You're going to hear Williams' name called almost every week, all right, and makes a very nice tackle because Williams has a lot of speed. Coming off of a knee injury last year in the Holy Cross game. Didn't really have much of an off season, didn't have much of a summer. Watch Bosco right here. Right here comes the balance and makes a nice play. There you go.
Oh, and on a penalty to the end of it as well. So 10 more yards. Back it up even further to the 20. So basically, by the time you get the punt, the minus return, and the penalty, it's a net of 60 yards out of it. And you talk about flipping the field. That gets it done right there. 20-yard line now.
That gets it done right there, and I'm glad you're good at math. Real quick.
So from the 20, quarterback's going to keep it on 1st down. Fake the handoff or the jet sweep to Gavin Richard, and no gain for LaCava.
Led by a host of Comets right there, especially Kyle Cannon, number 22. Boy, I tell you, he's another fine defensive player from St. Charles coming off of a great year last year.
One of those returning starters we talked about. 4 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, an interception, a block kick, seemingly always making big plays there. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 20. Going to go the other way this time, back in the hands of Kensey. Makes one man miss, still on his feet, still fighting, and they're going to give him forward progress out to about the 25-yard line.
Okay, everybody asks, well, hold on. The pullers pulled in one direction, and Kensey gets the ball in the other direction. Look at this, folks. Coming right into your – there you go. You see your pullers? All right, what they're doing is they're messing with the reads of the linebackers of St. Charles Catholic. Linebackers were reading those pullers, trying to get them to go in the opposite direction, give the ball back just to honest them up and slow them down a little bit.
By the way, we talked about Cannon. We can't forget the most important thing of 2021. He recovered that fumble, fumble on a punt snap late in the game. It proved to be the game-winning touchdown in that Division III state championship, and he was actually the most valuable player. Tried to come this way on 3rd down and 6, and nothing doing for Kensey as he gets about 2.
Nothing doing on that outside stretch play right there. Couldn't fool Ian Arnett that time. Watch him sitting right there. He steps up from his outside linebacker position and makes a very nice play. They walked him down in the box. Normally he plays free safety, so they almost got 9 guys down in the box that time, and Arnett was sitting there unblocked. They didn't have enough blockers to get a helmet on everybody, and Arnett makes a great play.
So the Eagles will punt it away here on 4th and 4, and it's a bad snap. We talked about bad snaps, and the Comets are going to get the football deep in Shaw territory. After that bad snap, it's going to be at the 3-yard line.
Well, opportunistic, right? You got to be an opportunistic defense, opportunistic offense. It's set up for the St. Charles Catholic offense at the 3-yard line. Bad snaps, first game of the season. All of that stuff's got to get worked out quick.
Cannon was back in there, but I believe, and we talked about Bosco a minute ago, I believe it was Bosco who made the stop back there to bring down the punter trying to field it. So at the 3.
Full house backfield.
Everybody in tight here on 1st and goal at the 3. Give it away. And Sturgis off the left side is in for the touchdown.
Old power football out of the power eye. ISO play right in the B gap. 2 lead blockers. Bang, bang. Touchdown, St. Charles Catholic.
1 play, 3 yards is all it took. 3-yard run by Devon Sturgis and St. Charles Catholic. It's on the board first. And the Comets will employ the swinging gate. Now they'll actually run new players on here. They're going to go for 2? No, now they're going to actually kick it. Not only the swinging gate, but running guys on and off. Kick on the way, and it is good. So with 45 seconds remaining in the first quarter, your score now, St. Charles Catholic 7 and Archbishop Shaw nothing.
You know, all of that movement out there on that PAT with the swinging gate. You talked to John Baxter, former special teams coach at Tulane years ago and all around the country.
Know him well.
One of the top premier special team guys in the nation. Wrote many books. The whole swinging gate deal can be an offense.
Yep.
So will we see that activated by St. Charles Catholic later as they had offensive players out there in their swinging gate, substituted a whole bunch of guys on for their PAT. Maybe we'll see a few offensive plays out of the swinging gate later by Ty Monica and that St. Charles Catholic offense.
One thing we're noticing here is the lights starting to take effect. It's going to be a little dark in the middle of the field here with these temporary lights.
Well, yes, it is. You can see it right now. That might be the ending you want to play in for your overtime, if there is an overtime.
Well, you almost have to play. Yeah, let's see. But it's certainly going to be much more lighted towards the right side. Line drive kick is taken at the 15. Room to run. Out past the 40. Still on his feet. 45. Brought down at near midfield, and that was Gavin Richard. Out to, they'll call it the 49-yard line, I believe. Let's see. Big return. Well, they put it down at midfield, and they will.
Well, Shaw starting with great field position. Again, Gavin Richard hit a crease, and he was gone. Here's a nice look at the replay. You're going to see a couple nice blocks in there by the Shaw Eagles, and here's the crease right there. He made every opportunity he had from the blocking. Crease brings out the offense at the 50-yard line. Eagles take over with great field position.
Nice 50-50, good for $435.
So LaCava with Kensey the sidecar. Richard in motion. Now will line up in the slot. They'll fake the give, and it will be LaCava on the keeper down the far sideline and out past the 30-yard line. Ball came out. And I believe the Comets got it.
Oh, my goodness.
St. Charles Catholic football.
Looked like number 69 came up with that ball. That was Matthew Luke, junior defensive lineman.
Yep, Luke came up with it.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Have to get another look to see who was on the strip there, but Luke got the recovery.
Well, you're going to see the quarterback counter, and LaCava does a nice job bouncing it outside. They had it all sealed off. Great job by the Shaw offensive line. He scoots down the boundary, and somebody just strips it out there, and Johnny on the spot is Matthew Luke. Another turnover, another opportunity for the St. Charles Catholic offense.
So it's a little bit of self-destruction thus far from what we've seen from the Eagles. Mistakes that have played a factor. Audemars taking a shot down the field, got a man open. Out past the 30, stays on his feet. He is going to go the distance. That is Samari Scott, 75 yards for the touchdown.
Nice setup by the St. Charles Catholic offense. A little boot throwback to Samari Scott. Blocked well up front. Missed tackle. 6 points St. Charles. Very nice play design by Ty Monica and his offensive group. Little boot throwback. I like it. And then when you get into the hands of a guy like Samari Scott, 6'2", 200-pound senior who had a nice year last year, all you got to do is miss a tackle, and he's going to go yard on you.
They're going to snap it and now pitch it, and they've got the two. Sturgis runs it in.
Didn't I say there was an offense out of the swinging gate?
No doubt.
You just don't go out there and show up and just show it, right?
Yeah.
All right? You
And
practice
you see, you look at the numbers, and that's it. You go to those numbers,
right?
And they did not have enough numbers to the field where they were able to run the option. And
Right.
Sturgis walks in. It is 15-0, 15 points in 30 seconds.
Again, it's a numbers game out of that swinging gate, Lenny, like you said, and that's what they saw. They counted them right there, and they run the option. Points off turnovers. Turnovers will kill you, especially early in the season. Things that got to get ironed out and fixed by Hank Tierney and his Eagle staff.
This has turned in a hurry. We had 11. It's like last night. We had no points on the board for the first 23 minutes, and all of a sudden we got a touchdown and a field goal in the last minute of the first half. St. Charles Catholic, 15 points in 30 seconds.
Well, when you turn the ball over, went after the juggler on the first play after the turnover, and it worked out nice. That's what happens when you miss tackles.
Pooch
also.
gets one of the short men here, and out past the 45-yard line to about the 47-yard line. That's Lewis Foster.
Okay, Shaw's got to get something on the board. They've got to answer here. They've got to do something to get their chin up. So somehow, some way, they're going to have to hold on to that football. They've moved the ball well tonight on a really good St. Charles Catholic defense.
Well,
now they've got to put it in.
Well, you're looking at 55 yards rushing from the back. Kenzie, you got 48 yards rushing from LaCava.
I don't know if you noticed the clock is going off and on.
Yeah, they're having some
clock
issues there. Yeah, and you can see it. You can see
yeah.
it disappearing on our score bug there. Although it's continuing to run.
Oh my God!
Bad snap, and LaCava's got to fall on it once again.
Okay, I know
that's the fourth one we've seen here in the first quarter. 3 on offense and 1 on special teams.
Right. Well, I know what they're doing at halftime. They're going to get Jace Burks, their senior center, extra snaps, right? They're going to be doing that in the locker room. I mean, this can't continue for them.
Clock is stopped with 2 seconds left. We got a flag on a play. So it was a 4-yard loss to the 42, and let's see what the penalty is about.
Here we go. Here's your call.
Byron Creasy will give us the signal. It's personal foul both ways. They offset.
All right. As the St. Charles Catholic faithful are giving their opinion. You might be picking it up on our mics. Right. But they're going to offset right there, and both sides are going to be warned against the extracurricular.
Right. And see if they wind it here when it's marked ready for play. So the scoreboard goes off again. And that was, no, it is stopped. Okay, so this will be the final play of the quarter. Back at the 38. And once again.
Well, LaCava dropped that one. That was right in his hands.
And it will be 3rd and 25 when we start the second quarter.
Well, you know, that one was right in LaCava's hands that time, and he just dropped that one. You know, they're having a lot of issues and a lot of problems. Yeah. So,
all right. So 12 minutes in the books here, and it was a pretty good first 11 minutes for Shaw, and things have really kind of unraveled here in the last minute of the first quarter. After 1 quarter of play, your score: St. Charles Catholic 15, Archbishop Shaw nothing. You're watching high school football from Crescent City Sports.
The end of the first quarter, tonight's ball game. Score Comets 15, Eagles nothing.
I'm not sure what the delay was about there, Wade, as we switch ends, but it took them a little bit. Now, obviously, I think that the clock situation is part of this.
Clock situation is part of it, but I was watching the officials' crew, and you know the management of the transition of making sure the spot of the ball just didn't look smooth. They were trying to make sure that they got it all perfect before they made the move, which is the right thing to do. It just was a little drawn out.
So when we resume, Shaw's going to play a 3rd down and 25.
Third and long, Shaw.
Give it away, and a nice run on 3rd down, and getting back to about the original line of scrimmage is David Kensey.
Well, they run the counter, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shaw hasn't thrown a football yet tonight. Have not seen a pass out of Shaw.
One pass thus far.
Okay, there you go. I just didn't remember it. And but when you got a running back like that, everything blows out of there in coverage on a down and distance like that, and he's going to take off on the counter right there. Nice hole, and he brings it back to the original line of scrimmage.
Right. Well, at least now you can get a good snap and a punt. Now you've got it. You got a chance to at least get some better field position out there. Kick is away. We'll take a St. Charles Catholic roll, and Shaw's going to down the ball at the 39-yard line.
Pressure put on right there by the St. Charles Catholic punt return unit or punt block unit, and created kind of a shank punt. It did its job. It didn't have to get a block. You just got a shank, which gives you pretty decent field position off of the scrimmage kick.
Call it the 38-yard line, so officially a 16-yard punt. On 1st down, not much doing that time. A nice job by the Eagle defense.
Stacked up right there by number 11, Jerome Boss Victor. I like that. I guess Boss is his nickname.
Boss is his nickname.
There you go. I like that. 6 foot, 195-pound senior stepped right up from his linebacker position and made a nice play on that ISO play.
Your nickname is Boss. You're probably pretty good, right?
Yeah,
you don't get that nickname if you're not a good player.
Exactly. He walks in that locker room and probably commands respect immediately, right? A little buck sweep action. I like that.
And on the play, it's Sturgis getting out past the 42, about the 41, maybe the 42-yard line, but it's going to be third down for St. Charles Catholic.
Ty Monica dipping back into the days of when he was a wing T quarterback right here on Frank Monica Field when I had him as my quarterback, ran buck sweep right there. He knows that play very well, all the steps and all the intricacies of the play.
She coached here in the 90s.
In the 90s, I did.
Ty Monica was on your team. Wayne Stein
Wayne
was
Stein,
on.
Nick Monica, head coach at Rummel. Some great
On third down, pass is incomplete. It was intended for Sturgis.
Look, football in the River Parish is life, and you know we talked about it earlier in the broadcast at the onset of how important high school football is. And after this parish went through everything it did with the hurricane, it's life, and you can tell that in the stands tonight. There's electricity all through this stadium, and those are the things I remember about coaching here in the River Parishes, especially all those years that we had great success here at St. Charles Catholic.
Punt is a good one. Over the head of the return man, and it's going to roll back inside the 5. He's going to pick it up at the 1. And if he lets it roll, Wade, it's possibly going into the end zone for a touchback. There was nothing good to come from that, and now all of a sudden, Shaw is going to start at its 1-yard line.
I'm speechless.
Special teams, right?
I am speechless. Gavin Richard, poor decision. That will be taught over and over and over again on film tomorrow morning. Decisions on punts, when to catch them, when to let them go, when to fair catch them. I'm speechless. You know, that's got to get ironed out.
Braden Bertucci has been an outstanding weapon thus far for St. Charles Catholic. Simply, you have to know where you are. And, I mean, it's not a situation where he was back at, you know, where they were pinned in deep and you're putting your heels on the 10-yard line, and if it goes over your head. He just did not know where he was.
You got to know where you are. That's why you're back there.
So on first down, making his way out of the end zone and out past the 5 and out near the 10-yard line. A nice play on first down for Kenzie.
You get some breathing room right there. Jaden Bro, St. Charles Catholic, comes down the line of scrimmage, makes a nice pop. Another one of those returning starters on defense coming back from the 2021 campaign with 56 tackles on the year, 7.5 of them for losses. The little breathing room right there. They need to get that thing out of there, get some chains moving right here so they can get a little momentum going.
Kenzie's approaching 100 yards for the game. You wouldn't know it. Whistles and timeout Archbishop Shaw. Hank Tierney wants to talk it over here, make sure he's got the right play on 2nd and 1. The ball at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, we coming in, we said Kenzie is a tested, running back. And you're right, he's close to 100 yards, but with the turnovers, the miscues, the bad snaps, the fumbles, and all of the things that have kind of plagued the Eagles in the first half tonight, nobody would know he's closing in on that 100 yards.
No doubt. Tonight's coverage of Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company. Lamarck has a brand new location at 6121 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Lamarck Crescent City Ford Trucks. We can't wait to see you there. Our thanks to Ronnie Lamarck.
Man,
I think the Crescent City Sports brand inspired him when he acquired this dealership to name it Crescent City Ford Trucks.
Look, have you seen that place out there? How that thing has grown?
The campus in Kenner is amazing. Right. There's no doubt about it, and it's beautiful.
The word campus is exactly. Yeah. It's like a college campus out there. It's beautiful.
It is, and now add on Jefferson Highway and Harahan as the alternate campus. Trying to get outside, and a nice run that time.
Well, they did a great job stringing that out. Talking about St. Charles Catholic defense on Kinsey right there. There's nothing inside. He bounces it outside. Now you got to have your safeties come up and support, and they did. They just missed the initial tackle.
And I believe that may have been Foster on the carry that time.
That was Foster? I couldn't see. The lights are kind of out down
Yeah,
there
exactly.
at that end,
I believe
right?
that was 2.
It is dark down there in that corner of the field. If you're viewing at home, it's
No,
probably
check it.
really
It's
dark.
8. It is 8. It is 8, but yeah, you're right. It's very hard to make anything out there. Gain of 3 on the play. First down. Play it from the 13. Oh, and a hit in the backfield. Wow. That was Britton Dean, the senior defensive lineman, that busted through there.
Well, they run a little twist stunt right there, and he comes right down the line, backside, off of the pullers right there, and just bangs them up in the backfield. That's a very nice hit. Nice read by Britton Dean for that Comet defense.
So even with the loss, 79 yards on 10 carries thus far for Kinsey. Line to make is the 23, and whistles before this one can get started.
Flags on the play.
False start,
Legal procedure against the Eagles.
You know,
and that might have been a good thing with
right.
another bad snap that St. Charles Catholic picked up in the end zone. It could have been a Comet touchdown.
I'm having to use my binoculars to see down there because it's so dark down in that corner on that far hash mark from the press box.
The quarterback keeper here on 2nd and 18, and not much doing.
Just trying to get some room down there. They run quarterback draw, not much doing. St. Charles Catholic all over that time.
Third down, about 18 yards to go.
So 3rd and quite a bit. The line to make the 23. They're at the 5. They need 18. Clock ticks towards 7 minutes to play here in quarter number 2. St. Charles Catholic, 15 points in 30 seconds of the final minute of the first quarter. And that's where we stand. There's that buck sweep once again. Not much doing that time. The St. Charles Catholic stayed at home, a gain of 2.
That was Caleb Williams that time on that run for Shaw. Shaw comes out in an unbalanced line that time to their boundary, and they run their little sweep over to their unbalanced line right there with not much room to move. St. Charles Catholic did a nice adjustment. When you have an on-the-line unbalanced look like that, you want to move over one man and treat the next man from the ball as the center of the offensive line. St. Charles adjusted, read the unbalance well, got lined up properly, made a nice play.
So Shaw's going to have to punt. I'm out of the, I would normally say the shadow of their goalpost, but there's not much in the way of shadows right now.
Yeah, the dark of their goalpost down there.
Gets it away, and a nice job here. Going to be picked up at about the 40-yard line. That is Sturgis on the return, out past the 25 to the 23-yard line. There are flags, though. Let's see what the laundry is about. Came in at the end of the play.
You know, Sturgis almost was a step away from popping that. You know, he's got a lot of electricity with him. Quick feet, good vision, good hands.
Illegal block in the back. St. Charles Catholic.
Block in the back, they're going to back it up from where the play ended, and they'll play first down.
Yeah, it all depends on the timing, and not
Right.
to mention where it actually takes place.
It was post-
That's similar.
right.
It's similar to what you
Post-
see in pro
right.
and college.
It's called post-possession, pre-possession, right? So the block in the back was post-possession. It's going to be backed up from the
The
ending
penalty's
spot.
at 23. Yeah, play ended at the 23. We're
Correct.
now at the 33 with the mark off.
10-yard mark off from the spot where the play ended. Post-possession block in the back.
H-back in motion. Audemars will find him right there. That is Brandon Craigle, the returning starter, tight end, out to about the 30-yard line, a gain of 3.
Little boot action there from Arthemont. You know, Arthemont's kind of, he gets down there and he's kind of hidden down there underneath the center. I don't know if our folks at home has noticed that, you're right. And he's way down there. But his
Gets down low,
right,
no doubt about it.
Right, but his footwork is really well as he comes out from under center, which is an art you don't see many teams teaching the snap from the center to the quarterback anymore. Everybody's in the gun, and nobody takes that direct snap anymore from the center. Arthemont's down there making sure he secures it, but he's got great footwork as a quarterback.
Down to the 6-minute mark, we'll take a hydration break. St. Charles Catholic in good field position, trying to add to this 15-0 lead.
Well, they've got a great opportunity to blow this thing wide open at the behest of Shaw with the number of penalties and turnovers that they've had on the evening. And look, we can't say that the Shaw Eagles in the first half haven't had their opportunities either. They got to get some things cleaned up at halftime. They need to just get out with 15 on the board right there in this 6 minutes. Try to make sure they hold on to the ball. They don't have any more breakdowns and get into that locker room and get things straightened up.
Registration links are available on our website in the admissions tab. Dates are filling fast, so register soon.
So when we resume, St. Charles Catholic will play 2nd down and 7 at the 30-yard line of Shaw.
Nice little screen down right now for St. Charles Catholic, thinking like Ty Monica. I know what he likes, certain things like right here. He thinks like his dad does. And right now, this is a nice little screen down or some sort of little counter down for St. Charles Catholic at 2nd and 7. Counter tray, quarterback counter, something of that nature.
How about those Comet cheerleader?
So here we go after the hydration break. I needed one as well. Arthemont keeps it. That's another way to get your action going in a different direction. First down. First time we've seen that tonight.
Quarterback counter off the jet sweep right there. Arthemont keeps it. He shows his wheels. How good of an athlete is he?
Well, not only did he throw for 661 yards a year ago, he rushed for 313, so they're not afraid to use his legs. No,
he's a good athlete. He's multi-purpose back there, and he's just another threat that you're going to have to defend as a defense. All these teams are going to be seeing down the line. And St. Charles Catholic has a very stout non-district schedule, which I'm sure we'll talk about at halftime.
Play action on first down. He's got his tight end out in the flat, and out near the 15-yard line is Craigle.
Craigle, second time he gets his hands on the ball tonight on a nice little tight end screen right there as he comes across in motion. He's got nice hands. Catches the ball. There's the little screen pass right there. Dumps it down. Nice little play design by the Comets.
So 2nd down and 4. The ball at the 15-yard line of Shaw. St. Charles Catholic looking to add on to this lead. Give it away, and not much doing. In fact, a loss on the play and the carry by Sturgis. I'll check that. They might give him forward progress. He got pushed back. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Looked like he lost yardage, but they're going to give him forward progress right back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 4.
Sturgis running the little off-tackle counter play right there. He sticks his nose. He's not a big guy, right? He's 5'10", 170 pounds, but he sticks his nose in there real hard, and he runs like a 210-pound back.
Quarterback keeps it. Othamont still on his feet. Outruns 2 defenders into the end zone. Touchdown.
Very nicely executed again. The quarterback counter off the jet sweep in the opposite direction. We saw that 3 plays ago on 2nd and 7. They run it now, and he pops it for the touchdown. Very well executed. Very well blocked by the St. Charles offensive line.
$15 yards on the run. Once again, the swinging gate. And they'll run 5 new players on.
Yeah, I love it.
And line up for the extra point. And that will be Tyler Miliotto, the freshman, to kick here. Kick is on the way, and it is good. So it's a 22-0 game with 3:51 to play in the first half.
Well, again, you know, a lot of this is, again, set up by miscues and issues that Shaw is fighting tonight, but the execution by the St. Charles offense after that first couple of series has been spot on. Nice play mixing, nice execution by the offensive line, good running, good pass catching, especially guided by Aiden Othamont, doing a great job getting that offense in the right situations to be able to score 22 points.
St. Charles on offense, 53 yards rushing, 86 yards passing. Shaw has just 7 yards passing. Believe it or not, they've got 89 yards rushing, and that's with 33 yards and bad snaps.
Right.
So Hotard to kick it away. Shaw's done a good job in the kick return game here, getting themselves good field position.
Well, the guy, you don't
whether
wanna,
it's pooched or it's kicked deep.
You don't want to put it into Williams' hands. That's the guy you don't want to put it in.
And it's in Williams' hands.
Here we go.
Trying to get to this side. Nice job by the St. Charles Catholic coverage team this time, and they're going to run him down. They're going to call it at the 14-yard line.
First thing you got to learn is you can't run east and west on a north and south field, right? Sooner or later, you got to put that foot in the grass, and you're going to have to get vertical. When you're trying to run east and west on a north and south field, that pursuit is going to catch up. Those guys in their coverage lanes are going to cage you in, and you're not going anywhere. You know, running across the field is the great, should I say, stopping of speed, right? As everybody pursues coming downhill at you.
As long as you're staying in your lanes, that's the other thing. You get people out of their lanes and you try to get outside, and maybe you've got a chance to get something done, but that certainly was not the case there. This is a well-schooled group of special teams at St. Charles Catholic. From the 14, LaCava rolling out, throwing, caught, and hit right away. Gain of about 6. And that was Gavin Richard on the catch.
Gavin Richard running a little delay route. Everybody runs that boot out of that one back stretch look. You boot the ball, hit the delay route. There's the delay route right there sliding out underneath. It's a nice little throw, nice little catch. Pick up a 5, 6.
Just the second pass Shaw has thrown tonight. They've run it officially 21 times. Some of those are bad snaps. On 2nd and 4, a nice hole off the left side. I believe that was Caleb Williams. Or check it, it's Kenzie.
Yep, that was Kinsey over there in that dark area on the far side hash from where we're sitting, running the off-tackle play right there. Good blocking up front by that Shaw offensive line.
So now 91 yards for Kenzie on 11 carries. He gets it out to the 32-yard line.
And he's over being attended to on the boundary. I don't know, he just took his helmet off. Hopefully he's going to be okay.
You hope so, because he is certainly the bell cow of this Eagle offense. So Kenzie out, Caleb Williams into the backfield. And a whistle.
Looks like we're going to delay a game.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there, maybe led by the injury to Kenzie. So Hank Tierney's offense will have to operate behind the sticks now at the 27-yard line.
Well, a lot of things are going to have to get cleaned up at halftime. I've already said that, and I know Hank's got his check-off list, his punch list in his hand. He's going to go in there and he's going to address some things, and I know we should see some of those things not take place in the second half from this Shaw offense.
Pass is intercepted. That is Hotard down the sideline in for the touchdown. LaCava was trying to run a play. We got a flag on the back end of the play here at the 27-yard line. Have to see what that's all about, Wade.
Well, LaCava shouldn't have thrown the ball. All he saw was blue jerseys out there. You see all those blue jerseys, what you need to do
Fake
is
fake the jet sweep and then tried to throw it.
Let's throw it away over everybody's head and come back and play
that was
again.
intended for Richard.
They're having a conference down there. You know, I mean, it could be anything from celebration to a block in the back to blocking behind the play to a hold on offense. Well, I'm trying to get some sort of preliminary call here, and we're not getting it.
Was there some sort of crackback block behind the play? It's one of those. I know one of those safety points of emphasis.
Right, blocking back against the flow of the play with
Right.
your end zone. That could have been it. It could have been a number of things here where that flag is laying out on the field. Here we go.
It's a dead ball. It's against St. Charles Catholic. I'm not sure, like, the touchdown stands.
Okay, so what's the dead ball penalty?
I wasn't sure. I saw it looked like two hands behind the back. I've not seen that signal before.
Okay. Could be excessive participation.
Illegal participation.
Yeah,
maybe
out
players ran out on the field.
Our coaches on the boundary sideline.
Right.
So that would be a sideline.
Another sideline.
Sideline. You know, it could be one of those, and they'll do it. Here we go.
Running the 2-point play again, and Altamont is in for the 2-point conversion, and it's 30-0.
It's like stealing. You got to have the numbers out there. You got to anticipate options. Somebody's got to take quarterback. Somebody's got to take pitch, right?
You get another.
Right. Nobody's coming off the ball to take the options in an assignment out there in the swinging gate. That's got to be practiced. That's got to be assigned. That's like stealing.
So Hotard returns it 26 yards for a touchdown.
Well, the ball should have been thrown, Lenny. We saw it just floated out there in a sea of blue jerseys. It was just begging to get picked off, and Altamont comes up with the big play right there, you know, and gets it into the end zone. So, you know, poor decision cost them 6 points and then 8 with the swinging gate. Ball should be backed up for the penalty on the kickoff with the illegal participation. And it is.
So they'll be kicking off from the 25.
25, correct.
Now, this is a chance now for Shaw maybe to garner some momentum back if they can get some field position out of this. They have to bring their return team well up now. It's Hotard, after scoring the touchdown, now kicks it off. Back to the 20-yard line. Out past the 40 to the 45. And a nice return right there. And that was Kenzie on the return. So that's good to see him back in the game.
Right, Kenzie hit that north and south. You saw how he exploded right there, got a little crease right there, picks up great yardage and puts the Shaw offense with 2:21 left in the half. And again, decent field position.
Yeah, 46-yard line. We've seen this a lot, though, and not able to take advantage of it thus far.
I mean, you can't say they haven't had their opportunities here in the first half.
Helmet fans, it's time to start getting your alumni cook-off teams together and perfect your secret recipe for our annual alumni cook-off at our Friday, October 21st homecoming game. To register for the alumni cook-off, check out our website for more details.
So from the 46, LaCava. He's got Caleb Williams alongside. Williams on first down. Might have gotten a yard. They'll say he did not. He's down at the line of scrimmage.
Nowhere to go. That was definitely stopped by the defensive end at the top of the defensive formation up there. If I'm not mistaken, Shane Zimmerman, a sophomore, does a nice job squeezing that down and making a nice play.
So the clock will tick under 2 minutes here. In a first half that has really been all St. Charles Catholic. Didn't start out that way. We were scoreless for the first 11 minutes, but 30 points in the span of less than 12 minutes has turned this into a bit of a runaway. LaCava sprinting out left, looking to throw, fires, caught, first down.
Here you go, very nicely executed on the sprint out. Good pass protection by the Shaw offensive line on turn back protection. Nice route ran out there, nice completion.
And that was Michael Williams, who you talked about, the senior, ACL a year ago, and is recovering, is back out there now.
You know, Hank's high on him. Hank feels like he has SEC speed and he's got SEC hands, right? He's just got to stay healthy.
Pass is caught, but Williams tripped up by the turf monster right there and is down for a loss at the 42-yard line.
Well, he didn't give him LaCava we're talking about here, didn't give Williams a chance to get going, right? He threw the ball into the ground at the feet and short hopped him, and things were set up out there on the little jailbreak screen, but never got a chance to get going.
Call it a loss of 3. He's second down, a long 13, and there's movement at the line of scrimmage. Wide receiver Cameron Maroney Bolden is going to get flagged for the false start, and they'll move back behind the chains even further.
That makes my head hurt. Look, wide receiver should never move. He's looking at the ball. He's not listening to cadence. He's not watching a defense. His eyes are trained after his alignment takes place, and if he doesn't have motion, his eyes are on the snap. That's when he moves.
Spotted at the 48, it's going to be second down and 19. LaCava's got to run for his life here. Going to take it around the edge and just run with it. He'll get out past the original line of scrimmage and down to about the 37-yard line, a gain of 11.
Looked like they were running counter there, and they didn't get the handoff. LaCava just shot on out of there and gets over to the edge and gets down there too.
Clock was down to about 22 seconds. Scoreboard now, it's back 12 seconds. Let's see. Now they'll wind it, 10-9. Now let's see if they'll try to run another play here. It's third down and 8 with the ball at the 37-yard line. 2, and let's see, do we get a whistle here? And officials are going to confirm. Maybe they're going to put some time back on the clock. I'm not sure. Did LaCava step out of bounds?
Couldn't tell over there. I didn't see a signal on the boundary.
So 2 seconds on the clock. They've almost got to snap it right away here. Let's see. Now we get another whistle. As the scoreboard keeps cutting in and out, you can see the clock continuing to flicker there on our score bug.
Well, you know, is it the 40-second clock, the play clock right there, is that flickering? Is that timed in with it also is another question. You know, if this keeps going, they might have to end up keeping it on the field.
Mm-hmm. And now we got a whistle, and perhaps there was a timeout called as well. Now they've put 24 seconds. It's 24 seconds now on the clock, so I don't know if there was some kind of adjustment made there. If it stays that way, then that tells you that maybe he did step out of bounds. Official says it's my timeout.
Okay. I'm as confused as you are, Lenny. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
He called his own timeout. We go from 2 back to 24. We don't know if LaCava stepped out of bounds over there to stop the clock. We didn't get a signal.
When we resume, it will be 3rd down and 8. The question is it 2 seconds and
Or is it
time for
24?
one
Right.
play, or is it 24 seconds and maybe time to get off 2? Look, we saw what Jesuit did last night. They weren't doing anything offensively and managed to get down the field and kick a field goal on the last play of the half. They're going to set up a screen, and it is well defended as they stayed at home. Caleb Williams, they're saying incomplete now. They thought it was a fumble and a scoop and score. Is running down the sidelines is Kyle Kennan, but instead they're going to call it incomplete.
Calling a play incomplete. Good, Johnny on the spot. Scooping and scoring, doing what you're taught.
Yeah.
You call, you
and
keep
the clock,
going.
The
so they
clock
bring it
says
back,
6
right?
seconds. They're going to have to put more time back on the clock once again. And there's another flag on the play. Holding against Shaw.
Okay. So
Now, clearly there's got to be some time put back on here.
you would think, right? Incomplete pass.
That couldn't have taken more than about 5 seconds. If it's indeed an incomplete pass, then of course nothing can be reviewed, but you can put time back on the clock here.
Well,
if there was 24.
Well, here's the deal. We don't know what is the exact time, right? I mean,
25 yards to go for the Eagles.
So it's 3rd down and 25. The ball was at the 46. It was a 17-yard penalty. Remember in high school football, holding is assessed from the spot of the foul, not from the line of scrimmage. And a nice run here on 3rd and 25 by Caleb Williams as the clock hits 0, and I guess that is the end of the first half. He got 18 yards on that final play of the half. And we've reached the break. Your score, St. Charles Catholic 30 and Archbishop Shaw nothing. Wade, thoughts on the first half here? Look, this is a Comet team that lost a lot of starters, but This is still a group of young men that won a state championship a year ago. And they haven't forgotten that, have they?
no, they haven't. And they know how to win here, and they know how to rebuild, replace, reload. And look, that's a credit to the coaching staff. That's a credit to Wayne Stein and his coordinators and everything that they do, from special teams, offensively, defensively, to the way they come out of the building, to the way they line up and stretch, to the way they approach their practice every day in preparation for an opponent. You know, they know where they're expected to be. So if you look at them many times on the roster, you say, well, they don't match up. No. They know how to match up because they know how to make sure they're prepared and outwork an opponent. Now, let's look at it the other side, right? Shaw football, these guys are tested. They're physical. We see a great running back in these guys, but they are bumbling and stumbling through things tonight, and they're not able to get themselves in a position. Look, they had a chance to set the tempo in the very first series of the game, right?
Right. They were inside the 10-yard line in the red zone, and
how many times tonight have they had?
A bad snap on 4th down
They have had
killed that opening drive.
They've had great field position all night long, right? Hank Tierney definitely knows how to win. He knows how to shape up a football team. And right now, I guarantee, down there in that end zone, he's telling them, hey, no more fumbles, no more penalties, no more miscues, no more personnel issues, and we're going to play like it's 0-0. I don't care if we're down 30-0. We're going to play like it's 0-0 because we're going to get ourselves better, because we're going to make steps and gain this second half as a football program.
Look, we've got a treat for you at halftime. By the way, this past Tuesday, was the opening meeting of the 84th season of the Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club back at the Cannery this year, and it was tremendous. It was outstanding. We heard from Gail Benson. We heard from Verge Osbury at LSU. We heard from Willie Fritz at Tulane. But what everyone is talking about is what Bryce Brown had to say. And the Carr Cougars opening their season tonight on the West Bank against Landry, their rivals. Now with Carr moving up to 5A this year, they're in different districts, not district rivals anymore. Let's hear what Bryce Brown had to say. Ken Trahan's going to introduce him. Matt Merritt, let's take a look at the video.
He's an alumnus who played at Carr and at Grambling, and he's entering, 8 years now? It's hard to believe it's been that long, presiding over one of the truly elite programs in the state of Louisiana. He's won 4 state championships in succession, I might add, between 2016 and 2019, and he's taken his team to 6 state championship games in that span, all in 1 year. The Cougars opened their season Friday night at Berman Stadium against a pretty familiar opponent, Landry Buccaneers, who also shared that stadium with them. So that'll be the ultimate neighborhood battle, as it always is. And ready for the challenge and ready to speak to you here this afternoon. Please give a warm welcome to the Godfather, Bryce Brown. Bryce.
Thank you, Mr. Trey, and thank you to the quarterback club. I do want to say thank you to the Saints, LSU, and Tulane, because on our journey to being successful, they have played an integral part in our preparation and our success. So thank you for all of y'all support as well. We are excited at 4400 Jeremiah Avenue. I have to get used to the new address as we move from the old building. But it brings on a different type of excitement, because this time last year, we were all separate. We were evacuated. We were displaced by God's own nature. But in His grace and mercy, we've returned back here together. And on Friday night, we are celebrating senior night for the first time in the first game of the season, because we've lost 2 players last year who were juniors. One junior who was shot and killed, another junior who died in his sleep. And people ask me often about the X's and O's of Carr, the expectations of Carr, the football at Carr, the band at Carr, right? But the perception to everyone is that it is a perfect place. Nothing is perfect. The only thing we can do is keep fighting and keep trying through God's grace and mercy. And on Friday, we're going to show our gratitude to those 2 particular parents before the game. And not only just kick off a new season, but a new celebration of our mission at Carr. Is to reach them and to teach them. I was taught a long time ago, if I could reach 1 person in this room, that 1 person can reach 10. And for those 10, we can reach 100. With those 100, we could reach 1,000. With 1,000, we could reach 10,000. So, not just to talk about football, because we all good at that. We play good football. But we have exceptional young men who have not only bought into the roles and the responsibility of a student athlete, but who do appreciate and who are appreciative of the place they play at and the city they play for. Last week we played a jamboree. And unfortunately the jamboree ended with, again, violence. We are at war every day as high school coaches, as college coaches, as professional coaches. A war against gun violence, a war against substance abuse, a war against sometimes ourselves. But how do we put those things in perspective? We use the sport of football to bridge those gaps. We use the sport of football not only as a gateway to reach lives, but to teach lives. And for any young coach who aspires to be a coach, remember that the football comes last. Because at the end of the day, we can stand on a book, but we'll fall on the ball. And that's what we're trying to teach at Carr. Not only being appreciative, but being grateful that we're still here today. And who knows what the future may bring us, right? But if we give our personal best, and I think Ms. Benson hit on that perfectly, your personal best to yourself, we can not only change what we're fighting here in New Orleans, we can reverse it. But first, we have to be available. We have to be available to our students. We have to be available to our players. Secondly, we have to be accountable. We have to set examples. We have to prepare them for what's next. And the last thing, we have to be authentic. In being authentic, sometimes it may take on a tough conversation, which what we have to have with our seniors on Thursday before Friday's game. That a loss of life is real. But through that storm, on the other side of that storm, are a group of 100 men, young men, who are trying not only to satisfy themselves, but not be a product of that particular system. How do we do that? We need God on our side. If God is for you, nobody can be against you. Thank you to everybody for listening, and God bless you.
That is powerful stuff from Bryce Brown. Check out Ken Trahan's story at CrescentCitySports.com. Gets a little more in depth and what
Right.
what this guy has been through. And I exchanged messages with Kent Babb earlier this week. And Kent, if you're not familiar, is the Washington Post writer who wrote the book about Bryce Brown and the car program. It's called Across the River. Check that out if you haven't seen that as well. And Kent's message back to me was, I truly love that man. I mean, he's a great human being and a great football coach, and he's got challenges unlike most other high school football coaches in Louisiana. It is really a situation of life and death out there with when you're dealing with your players in Algiers, and he
right.
manages it. And I mean, it's checking in on guys constantly, making sure everything's okay at home, and he is a father figure.
Right.
In some cases, an only father figure, in other cases, a second father figure to those young men.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, you go through 2.5 hours of practice. Those men are in your, grips for that 2.5 hours. They're going through 7 hours of school during the day. So for 9-10 hours a day, they're in your possession, right? Okay.
It's 14 hours.
Right,
They're not.
Right. So then you think, well, they're going home. They're going to have great meals, and they're going to be safe in their beds, and they're going to do their homework and be safe in their houses. Well, Bryce doesn't deal with safe in a lot of issues. He's got to go out and make sure that his guys are safe. So his job is a 24-hour job of not only football, but raising young men to do the right things, be in the right places, be with the right people. So you're absolutely right. That was touching. That was deep. He is absolutely a great football coach, but more than that, he is a great human being.
Take a look at some scores, Wade, on our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard at CrescentCitySports.com. No better place to get all of the scores. A lot of games played last night. We'll bypass some of those. Is this right? I'm looking at this score. Is there a baseball game going on in Slidell tonight? Pearl River and Pope John Paul. It's 6-4.
6-4. There you go.
Pearl River sign Albert Pujols, maybe? I don't know. So
somebody's throwing a two-hitter, right?
Yeah, it's I've got to find out more about what's going on there. Let's look at some of the games. Of course, there were games last night. We had for you at CrescentCitySports.com a thriller at Tad Gormley. It was Jesuit over Slidell 16-13 in overtime. We mentioned we're keeping you up to date last night on what was going on at Hammond. Archbishop Rummel with a good win over Ouachita Parish, 42-28. Here's some of the games in progress this evening that we're interested in. Besides that, good one going on just down the road from us at Riverside Academy. St. Thomas Aquinas second quarter leads Riverside 15-13. It's going to be a pretty good Riverside team under Lee Roussel in his first year as a head coach. Interestingly, he's got Chris Lashney, the former head coach at Riverside, back in the program and serving as defensive coordinator. So that's certainly a team to keep an eye on. There's been some games postponed this evening, clearly because of weather. I think there's been some lightning in the area in different places in the state. Lake Arthur and Basile postponed this evening.
Down in Houma.
Down in Houma, the
Right.
game between E.D. White and Vanderbilt Catholic, much anticipated game, postponed as well. So got to find out more about what is going on down there. Elsewhere around the state, some good ones. Get you some of the games in the New Orleans area as we scroll through our scores. Good one in Baton Rouge, second quarter, Episcopal and St. Michael. It's Episcopal with a 13-2 lead in the second quarter. Got some of these crazy scores going on this evening, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you've got some low scores, and then you got some blowouts. Look at South Lafourche putting 35 up on St. Edmunds right there.
So
South Lafourche.
down in Galliano, leading 35-20 in the second quarter. Good game tonight up in Central Louisiana. Karen Crow and Alexandria. That's two good programs right there. Of course, Karen Crow, was a 4A champion a couple of years ago, leading Alexandria 13-0 first quarter. Halftime, Lafayette Christian, that's a good program, moved up to 4A this year, leading Acadiana 24-8 at halftime.
Well, you're talking about athletically talented from top to bottom.
Another good one going on in the Acadiana area. Second quarter, St. Martinville leads Cecilia 21-20. Up in the Washington Parish this evening, big rivalry, Bogalusa and Franklinton. Bogalusa with a big 32-6 lead in the second quarter of that game.
Neville Evangel 0-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah. Bell Chase, team we'll see later on this year, leading McMain 28-0 second quarter. St. Martin's has got a terrific running back, getting some looks recruiting, and leading Ben Franklin 27-0 in that game. Halftime in Ruston. This may be the game of the night. Warren, Easton, and Ruston, two top 5 teams, one in 4A, one in 5A. It is a 6-6 game at halftime in north central Louisiana. Manny over Sam Houston, 28-3 at halftime. By the way, Newman, we'll talk about them in a second. Newman heads to Manny in a very high-profile Class 2A game. That's in Week 4. That game is going to be played up there. St. Paul's leading West Jeff 21-7. We're going to see St. Paul's in a couple of weeks. Holy Cross and Holy Cross tonight, but they are playing in Texas. Holy Cross of San Antonio, Texas. Holy Cross in New Orleans. The Tigers of Nick Salter-Formaggio have a 21-7 lead on the road in San Antonio in the second quarter. Good one going on, two good programs up in North Louisiana. West Monroe leading Sterlington 17-7 in the second quarter there.
Two very good programs.
Yeah, Westgate, the defending 4A champions, leading New Iberia 25-0 in the second quarter. Hank Tierney's old team, Ponchatoula, at Walker this evening, trailing 26-6 at halftime. Ponchatoula was here for the Jamboree, and St. Charles Catholic handled them well, 27-0. Covington at halftime leads John Ehret 22-8. Halftime, Denham Springs and Mandeville 14-7. By the way, we can tell you, next Friday night we will be in Hahnville when Mandeville makes the trip down to the river parishes, where we are tonight, to face Hahnville. Carr leading Landry 26-6 in the second quarter. We talked about that game and heard from Bryce Brown. Lakeshore and Fontainebleau 7-7. Good one going on in the second quarter of that one. Hahnville taking on Newman tonight and Arch Manning 14-13. The Tigers lead it down in Hahnville, second quarter of that one. Good one at Gormley so far. Second quarter, Brother Martin, defensive struggle leading Madison Prep 3-0. Catholic of Baton Rouge is playing Our Lady of Good Counsel, a team from Maryland, I believe. 7-7. That's a first quarter score in Baton Rouge. Catholic made the trip up there last year, so a home and home there. Old rivalry from back in the St. Bernard Parish days. Chalmette and Hannon. Tonight they're meeting in St. Tammany Parish. It's 21-7 Owls second quarter. Curtis at halftime leads Central Lafourche 30-0. Let's see what else we have in the way of local scores. That is just about it in terms of what we see in terms of local scores out there. And again, get all your scores on the All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard at CrescentCitySports.com. Wade, what got discussed here in the locker rooms at halftime in your mind?
Well, over there in the St. Charles locker room, it's about, I can hear the speech and the intensity in Wayne Stein's voice, right? Continue playing hard, do what you've been taught, play with tempo, play with emotion, and set the tempo for our football team tonight. Over there on the other side, in the end zone, Hank Tierney and the Shaw Eagles, he had his center out there practicing snaps, all right? He was doing a little chewing and making sure that they got personnel on the field right. And he told them, whatever we do here in the second half, the score is 0-0. I do not want to worry about being down by 30 points at this stage of the game. I want to make sure that we take this second half, we improve our football team, and we play error-free football the second half. That is what I want to see from us as we take a step forward in this new Hank Tierney era at Shaw High School.
Shaw getting ready to take the field. St. Charles Catholic has already taken the field. And just so you know, they did not fix the lights at halftime. Kudos to Matt Merritt and to Mark Paul. We got some camera settings changed to improve the looks of things. You know, you can adjust some things with the camera and make it look a lot brighter than what it is. It looks a lot brighter than what it is out there. But that's okay. That's good for you out there in our viewing audience at CrescentCitySports.com. It is still a little dark.
Still a little
here
dark,
in La Place.
right. Over on the far hash mark away from the press box.
Yeah.
We seem to have our clock working. It
Yeah,
looks
so
like
far,
it's, not
so
going to
far,
go off
so
and on.
good. Comets on the field, getting set to receive the second half kickoff. St. Charles Catholic won the toss and deferred. No surprise when you're dealing with a Wayne Stein coach team who really hangs its hat on defense.
Well, they've been Johnny on the spot. They've caused turnovers. They've caused turnovers on special teams. They've recovered fumbles. They've stripped the ball. They've had an interceptions. So they've made interceptions. So, you know, that's a trademark of a good defense. They can take the ball away, and they've done that tonight. So you're going to see St. Charles's offense right now. They're going to want to come out and set tempo in the beginning drive right here. Get first downs, move the ball, come away with some sort of points, and make sure that they understand that the tempo is on their side.
Zelaya will kick it off for Shaw. First time we've called his name tonight. Got it back to the end zone, and it's well defended out to the 19-yard line. Good hit. Shaw defender lost his helmet. And so the Comets will begin at the 19-yard line.
Comet fans would like to take this opportunity to recognize our Comet JV cheerleaders.
Wait for them to spot the football here. It's going all over the place. Now they'll put it out there. Let's see where they put it down. They still haven't put the football down yet. St. Charles Catholic's breaking the huddle, ready to come to the line. They're going to put it down at the 20.
Mechanics, mechanics, mechanics.
It's week one for the officials, too.
Okay. All right. Okay. You know.
Altamont will fake the jet sweep and then pitch it to his back. That is Devon Sturgis. Carried it 6 times in the first half.
I like the little play design right there. Everything's faked off the jet sweep, and they get the little quick toss outside. They pull the tackle outside into the alley and get a nice little block, and they pick up nice yardage on that. They're just trying to pop Sturgis, and if Sturgis can pop, he can go.
So at the 27, it'll be 2nd down and 3. Give it away. First down on the run. That was Samari Scott that time on the carry.
There's your hit you in the nose, downhill, ISO play, off tackle by St. Charles Catholic. And, you know, Samari Scott does a nice job sticking his nose down in there. Well blocked by the St. Charles offensive line. Nice pickup, moves the chains for the first down.
First minute of the second half. St. Charles Catholic put up 15 in the first, 15 in the second. They lead it 30-0. Good run on first down. And it's once again Sturgis this time, out to about the 35-yard line. Let's see what the spot is. May move it back to the 34, where it'll be 2nd down and 7, and indeed they do.
Look at the nice power O blocking right there. You get the lead block by the fullback, gets a kick out on the end. The backside guard does a great job with his footwork and the seal up on the linebacker. Just gives the downhill running back Sturgis a crease, and he gets a nice pickup. Got to love that power O stuff. You get the kick out and the seal. trademark St. Charles Catholic football.
So from the 34. Scott tries to come back this way. Well defended there by the Eagles. A gain of only 2.
Well, look, that was blown up by number 71, Kylis Francis, 6'1", 315-pound defensive lineman.
Flag is down. Let's wait and see what that is about from Myron Creasy, our referee. Personal foul. It's against the defense.
Oh. Well, you know, back to that play again. Really a highlight right there was Francis coming down off the down block and taking on the lead blocker and just blowing that thing up in the backfield. Very well played by the defensive end with great technique from Shaw. That was Kylis Francis. Love to see great technique by defensive linemen when they come down and they take on those lead blocks like that.
So the penalty will move it across the 50 into Shaw territory at the 49-yard line. Hawthorne gives it away. Almost mishandled things there, but Samari Scott handled it and gets about 3.
Well, he kind of bobbled that ball right there, mishandled it, but there was penetration by the Shaw defensive line, but still they pick up nice yardage on that. Again, in the backfield causing kind of all the commotion was Kylis Francis.
So when you're playing with a lead like this, like Wayne Stein is, I mean, moving the change right now and just grinding things out is certainly an operable thing. Looks like an option play here. Nice pitch at the last minute to Sturgis, but it's well defended that time by Shaw on the perimeter, and it's a gain of only about 2.5.
Well, they made everything string out with the quarterback. They played nice option football right there on the lead option. Linebacker did a nice job coming off, getting to where he needed to be to take the quarterback. You'll see how he gets strung out here. That gives time for your secondary to catch up. You see how everything gets strung out right there? Linebacker's right there for the quarterback. Quarterback pitches the ball, and here comes the secondary getting off of blocks and rallying to the pitch. Very well played by the Shaw defense that time. So you're about to ask me a question. What do you do offensively with a 30-point lead? You show everything you can to everybody.
Hawthorne drops back on 3rd and 4. Passes caught, first down and more. Nice catch and run by Sturgis out to the 30-yard line. Hawthorne showed me something there, and a late flag's going to come in with that long throw from the far hash back over to the near side numbers.
Yeah, very nice off the play action. He slings it back out here for the wide receiver screen. Gets it there, and all you want to do is get somebody to miss you once. He gets a guy to miss him twice, and it's a nice pickup. And then the official throws a great overhand ball in, hits his cutoff from center field.
There you go. It's an illegal block in the back. Well, it's going to come from the end of the play because that's where the penalty happened. So
right.
The 13-yard catch and run is going to stand, but add a 10-yard penalty, and now it's going to be 3rd and 1 at the 40.
I was always amazed how officials could throw that far. If they can throw that far, that means they saw that far, right?
Now, the umpire, Guy Rutledge, was a terrific pitcher in high school and in college, okay? So if you got the umpire throwing one tonight,
right. Well,
he's got an arm.
That came from the side judge down the back.
No, I can't speak for the side judge. Off the left side, churning, falling forward, nice run, and it'll be a first down, and we got some extracurriculars behind the play.
And they're tangled up. For Shaw was number 54, Matthew Burnside. Didn't see who the Comets that were in there with the extracurriculars. Officials all over it real quick. They shut it down. You know, but I always wondered, they could throw it that far, could they see it that far? And I always asked them that. I said, man, I tell you what, you got ice down your shoulder tomorrow. Wasn't there anybody closer to see that? That's what I asked. You know me.
There's
I always
there's
had a
generally 7 out there, sometimes
Right.
fewer.
I
But
said, wasn't there anybody closer?
all right, let's see. We'll get the call here. Sooner or later, we will get the call from Myron Creasy.
Comic fans, the cheerleaders have in their hands.
You know, I give those guys a hard time, but I said it last night. Those guys do a great job. You know, there's no football unless our officials are out there officiating. And I'm always talking about young guys, about if they're looking for something to do just to pick up extra money and they love football, they need to go out and join their local officials association and get out on the field and do a yeoman's job, because that's what these guys do every week. You know, and they got to put up with, when I was on the field, me yelling at them, and some coaches on the sidelines are hard to deal with, but these guys every week they come out and do a great job because they love kids and love the game.
Holding on the offense.
Oh my goodness.
And a personal foul on the offense, and a dead ball personal foul is on a defense.
I didn't see that last dead ball call who he pointed to. Wayne Stein out there trying to get an explanation. But, like I said, those guys do a yeoman job. And in my opinion, they're not paid enough, right? And so if you're a young guy out there and you love the game of football and you want to get involved in it, go talk to your local officials association and get started. I mean, you are truly needed at the youth level and at the high school level, and if you really get good at what you're doing, you can move on up to the college level, because there are many guys that take that next step.
Well, let's just reset what's happened here. We had 2 penalties, the hold and the personal foul, both against St. Charles Catholic, that has turned third down conversion. There was a 2-yard gain on a play. Instead of 3rd and 1, now it's 3rd and 28.
Hold on, let me check my call sheet on that.
There aren't any on there, I'm sure. So, and I'm sure there aren't any on Wayne Stein's call sheet. And they're still talking about it.
All right.
I don't know if there were offsetting fouls on at least the dead ball fouls, where maybe they're going to turn around and walk off 15 now. I don't know. That's what I'm confused at. Back in the other direction.
If they had a live ball and they had a dead ball, they need to walk off both.
Right, and that's what they've done.
And they've done that, but then there was a third call, and we didn't see the direction of where that third call was. I think they got the live ball right. I think they got the dead ball right.
At least against St. Charles, was there another penalty in there somewhere? I see the Shaw players walking back this way, as perhaps there's going to be a 15-yard penalty coming back this way against Shaw.
Okay. Well, they're getting their steps.
Or a 10-yard penalty. So I'm totally confused now.
Well, here we go. They're getting their steps in on their little pedometers, right? So they just walked that ball back, walked it up, and we're all
we got
confused.
10. We got 10 going back, really 14 going back. Then we got 15 going back, and then we got 10 coming forward. Don't ask me. All I know is if this is where we're playing, is 3rd and 18 at the 43. I have no idea how we got to this point.
Well, there comes a point in time, I think Hank and Wayne are going to walk out there and say, guys, put the ball down, let's just play. Let's go. Let's just play some ball. I know they're trying to get it right. They're doing their explanations. They're making sure they're working hard to get the right spot. All right, so here we go. Looks like it's a change of down. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Now I think I figured out what happened here, but even then, they declined the holding penalty.
There you go.
And took the, but I don't know how it makes it 4th down, though, because the play made it 1st down. If you decline the penalty, it made it 1st down, and now you're walking it back. I don't know how it can become 4th down. I'm confused on that. Someone can perhaps give us an explanation. I'm sure somebody's going to let me know between now and next week exactly what happened there. So it's 4th down and 18 now at the 43. Kick is away, And Williams is going to let it roll, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So another good punt. We've seen some very good punts tonight, and another flag back at the 32-yard line. I don't know if this is running into or roughing the kicker. Either way, not an automatic first down, so it's not enough to get to the sticks.
Right.
If it's indeed
Running
against
into.
Shaw. But if
Are they going to take a while to figure this one out? Or?
I hope not.
All right. Well, I must say, we are sitting here in a beautiful new
press box
here at St. Charles Catholic.
And this whole thing is new. The whole home
Right.
side is new. A new press box,
Right.
new stands. You were here, of course.
Yes, I was.
Tell us the story about the old home side of St. Charles Catholic Stadium here.
Well, back in the 80s when they were redoing their field here, they floated a set after they tore down Tulane Stadium of their upper deck right down the Mississippi River, unloaded it, put it on trucks, and brought it right over here to St. Charles Catholic. That was the old stadium on the home side here at St. Charles Catholic. It was a part of the upper deck of Tulane Stadium. While I was here, we went through two press boxes. One got blown down in a storm, and I wouldn't leave for a hurricane, Andrew, because they were building our new press box, and my wife had no clue why I was staying there. I said, well, I was staying because of the new press box. She says, what are you going to do if it blows down? I don't know. I guess watch it. I don't know. So I stayed. She was mad at me. They built a new press box, and finally, 3 years ago, the side of the stadium here on the home side, and I'll finish up here in a minute after your call.
Yeah, 1st and 10, the ball at the 7-yard line. Give it away on first down, and a gain of a couple.
After all those years, that metal side of old Tulane Stadium began to rust and deteriorate and have holes in the metal, and they had to condemn it. They had to tear it down, and immediately St. Charles Catholic, Frank Monica, and the quarterback club here, which is extremely, hard-working group of people that go out and raise funds for athletic here at St. Charles, started raising the money to build a new sideline set of stands and press box, and this is the result of it. It's a beautiful facility.
It is nice. Wakava throws. It is incomplete, intended for Michael Williams.
Michael Williams comes
And
up left of them.
he's hobbling a little bit there.
Right, it was a double move, a little out and up. Safety comes across the top to break it up real well. The ball was kind of floated out there. The safety from St. Charles arrives right on time just to knock the ball away. Great move by Williams on the out and up.
And you hope this is just a cramp for Williams. Again,
Yes.
he's coming back from an ACL.
Correct.
Trying to make his way off the field and could not do it and grab the back of that leg. So you hope it's just a cramp. Or worst, a hamstring.
Back to his route, a beautiful route. It was a little out and up, little nod and go. Just the ball wasn't very well thrown. It gave the opportunity for the safety to get over and make a great play.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by TMJ and Sleep Therapy Center of New Orleans, specializing in the treatment of craniofacial pain and sleep breathing disorders from birth to adulthood. Dr. Terry Billings and Dr. Emily Levy offer alternatives to CPAP machines, treat headaches and facial pain, and assess craniofacial development in children. Give them a call at 504-832-2222 to help restore your health and live a pain-free life.
There you go. Yeah, we talked about this last night. And the snoring, correct?
That's it.
There you go. Terry Billings does a great job, Jesuit man.
And that is his daughter, Emily, who is part of the practice as well. And sure, someday in the not-too-distant future when Terry decides to retire, and a mishandled snap there, that was not we've seen some bad snaps. That was not. I think that was just a drop.
Just a drop, taking his eyes off of what he needed to be able to keep his eyes on, which is the ball, and the ball goes on the ground. He falls on it, and they're punting again deep in their end zone, setting up great field position for St. Charles Catholic. This seems to be the whole deal tonight for the Shaw Eagles. Real messy, real sloppy, blowing opportunities. Things are going to, as I've said, are going to have to get cleaned up moving forward. Got to be careful not to step on that back line as the punter. That will end up as a safety.
Yep. Gets one away, and not a great roll there. It just kind of checked up like one of Wade's 9-irons at the 25-yard line.
There you go.
With 6:07 to play here in the third quarter, so I guess we'll get one snap before we take a hydration break. It's seemed different over the years, you know, with this, since this was instituted by the National Federation. We've seen different, I don't want to say interpretations, but different methods of enforcing it. You know, seen different places where they didn't want to stop momentum and they let drives finish. Now it's really treated more like a 2-minute warning. There, it just stops at 6 minutes and the next play starts on the snap. There was times it was stopped and it was on the ready for play. It was out there. And we've got an injury back inside the 10-yard line.
Look,
this game is really slow to a crawl here in the third quarter.
It also depends on the crew, right? The white hat is going to run the management. And if he doesn't want to give you your 6 minute right in the middle of a drive to stop momentum, he won't do it.
Well,
if he feels it's needed,
they've
he'll
kind
do
of,
it.
yeah. Now,
right.
There was some interpretation for a while. Now, at least from what I've been told here, whether it's in Louisiana or it's other places in the country, this is the way it's being done,
right.
And it's standard. In fact, I wonder if they're taking it now.
They might be taking it now, just as the player from Shaw, which is number...
This looks like 35, Sheldon Green, perhaps?
It looks like Sheldon Green, number 35, coming off. Let's hope it is just a cramp also.
Green, a linebacker, 6'3", 200 pounds, sophomore. Now, we mentioned talking to Hank Tierney. You know, the numbers in their 8th grade, best they've ever been. The 8th grade football program has 53 players, so he's got a roster like the Saints does on his 8th grade team. And that is encouraging for the future. There's no question about it.
Which
Look,
also
he was not going to go. You knew
right.
This was not going to be, they say Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. I mean, Hank
right.
can do some magic. There's no question about that. But
he understands the job, and he understands the work that needs to be put in.
Pitch on first down, and nice execution there by the Comets is up the near sideline. Samari Scott will gain a first down.
Great blocking by the wide receivers out there on the edge. That was number 4, Daniel Joseph, and number 11, Jackson Monica, out there, lined up.
As a fullback.
But out there spread away from the offense, getting a great block out there on the secondary of Shaw to help spring the option play by Sturgis. Jackson Monica, I wonder whose son that is. I got to ask that question if I see Frank. See if that's one of the children.
And on first down, it is once again Scott on the carry, and he will get a yard, perhaps. 2nd and 9. Comets back in the red zone here at the 13-yard line.
You know, they've been living in the red zone all night, either by design or by gift, right? You know, and that, a secret of a good offense is always scoring when you're in the red zone, coming away with some points.
So at the 13, lined up in the eye. Now it's Sturgis dotting the eye, and he will take it up the gut. Inside the 10, the push continues, and he falls forward to about the 6-yard line. Make it the 7.
Bringing in the fullback to set up a 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end. Again, Jackson Monica at the fullback position runs a nice ISO and gets a great block on the linebacker to help Sturgis pick up the yardage he needs to fall forward.
You know, one of the things over the years, as you watch St. Charles Catholic play, they've never had a bunch of extraordinary numbers statistically. That's Altamont on the carry. He got the first down, kept it himself.
All right, again, quarterback ISO following 2 blockers into the hole from the shotgun position.
I say he's got the first down. Let's see where they're putting this down. Did they mark it short?
They're saying short down there.
Yep, it is 4th down. But as you watch this tonight, one of the things that you see, and again, they don't have a bunch of extraordinary stats here in building a 30-0 lead and knocking on the door again. They've got maybe 100 yards rushing. They've got 86 yards passing. Spinning out of there, and a nice job defensively by the Shaw Eagles to get the stop on 4th and 1, led by Lewis Foster, the safety, to make the hit on Sturgis, and they get a stop on 4th down.
Little bright spot there for the Shaw defense. Comes up, safety fits off, just the way it's supposed to be, and makes a nice tackle there.
Oh, wait, hang on here. They went back and changed it to 1st and goal. They did call it.
Call it first down.
Are they calling this? So the previous play was a 1st down.
There you go. It looked like they didn't change it on the chains.
They did not. And now, so that big play is going to make it 2nd and goal.
Right. But, you know, you're talking about an offense like this. It doesn't have the big numbers right there. They're opportunistic. And you play great defense.
Well, let's look at what's happened tonight. Okay, you've got a 3-yard drive after a muff punt snap. You had a pick 6. Now, you did have the 175-yard play. As Altamont rolls, throws, it is no signal. Incomplete.
I didn't even see an incomplete signal right there.
No, I didn't either.
Out timing route at the flag. Altamont puts it right on the money. Looked like it hit the receiver right in the hands. I don't know why he didn't catch it. Again, it's kind of dark over in that corner from our vision. Let's see if we can see things on the replay right here. Good sprint out, good turn protection by the offensive line. There's the ball. Oh, my goodness. It looked like it hit him right in the hands. But you're right. Opportunistic, good defense. A lot of times isn't going to give you a lot of statistics as an offense.
Well, I remember the year as Altamont rolls back to the same play. This is caught and touchdown. More on that in a moment. 7 yards. Sturgis on the reception. And it's now 36-0 with the PAT to come. And who knows whether this will be 1 or 2.
Sturgis runs a really nice, look at the little crossing route there. Sturgis goes out, receiver comes in, he breaks it to the outside, but the throw here by Altamont is perfect timing, great protection by the offensive line. On the turn back protection, allow Altamont to get out on the edge.
We'll have a try for 1 here by Miliotto. And his kick, good. So with 2:59 remaining in the third quarter, your new score is St. Charles Catholic 37 and Archbishop Shaw nothing. So the point I was going to make is, St. Charles Catholic won a playoff game at Notre Dame, and I don't remember the exact number of yards they had, but it was not many because they scored 3 touchdowns, and none of them were on offense. I think they had a punt return. They may have had a kickoff return, or an interception return, and a fumble return. They never scored. They never scored on offense.
Right.
But that's the opportunistic St. Charles Catholic teams that we have seen for so many years under Frank Monica, now under Wayne Stein. You look at how they won the state championship game last year against Lafayette Christian. They won it with special teams. They made plays, in the punt game that enabled them to win that football game.
Look, you walk out of Walmart and there's a $10 bill laying right in front of you at your feet. You pick it up, right?
Right.
Okay. Opportunistic. Got it? So good football teams are opportunistic and they play defense, correct? You're not going to have the stats offensively and be lighting it up. But if you are not opportunistic and you do have a lot of stats, but you're not coming away with points, you got problems. So there you go.
Kickoff through the hands, and he can take it's dead as soon as it goes. It's a muff, so when it goes into the end zone, it is a touchback.
Eagles will play a 1st and 10 from their own
Okay, there you go. Ball's in the end zone. You got to catch that ball right there. But again, when it breaks that plane, Federation rules say the ball comes out to the 20.
Right.
I think we should see on defense with a lot of blue jerseys now and maybe on offense some different blue jerseys, should I say, coming in, trying to get some reps and some time.
So from the 20, again, LaCava can't handle a snap. That one looked, it might have been a little bit off center, but it was certainly up at waist level.
Well, we can't chart the number of times there's either been a drop snap or a bad snap.
I can.
You can?
I've got 7.
You got 7, okay. I can't.
I got 3 drops and 4 bad snaps, counting the punt. So 2nd down and 15, the ball at the 15-yard line. LaCava drops it again, now throws in incomplete in the direction of Gavin Richard. It'll be 3rd and 15.
Okay, so there's a couple reasons why he's having this issue, okay? He's not seeing the snap, number one. His eyes are completely downfield, so he doesn't see the snap. The first thing you got to do is see the snap and then proceed to the next step. This is something that will be ironed out next week by Hank. I know he will, because he, he's going to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Look, LaCava's a fine quarterback. I think he's more of a running back type of guy, correct? And he's probably their go-to guy as far as what's got to be playing quarterback right now for the Eagles. But he's going to have to fix some things.
And on 3rd down and 15, a nice run and perhaps a first down here. And that was Kensey.
That might put Kensey over his 100 yards.
I believe you're right. Right at the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 15. That's what he needed.
So that puts him at or 100.
109 on 13 carries by my count.
Look, what a workhorse. We said coming in that this guy is a workhorse. He's Catholic League tested. He's going to run downhill. He's going to pound the ball. They've got a nice offensive line. Let's iron out the mistakes.
Give him the 31-yard line, so add another yard. Give him 110 yards now. And that time, that was Caleb Williams on the carry to about the 35-yard line.
On the stop right there was Kyle Cannon. He's one of those starters returning from last year. We've called his name a couple times tonight. He's a pretty good football player, linebacker. Like this guy. I think he might have a chance to play at the next level. Runs well. He might not be a linebacker. He might be a safety in a couple years. He's a junior.
So at the 35, Shaw looking to get a little something going offensively here as we tick under a minute in this 3rd quarter of play.
Okay. If we get a chance to see that play on the replay right there, everybody at home can see this. The guard does a great job logging. That's what you call logging the defensive end from St. Charles Catholic, who's squeezing it down right there. See that log? Kensey should have bounced that right there. He should have read that block, that everything was clouded up inside because of the crashing defensive end in the blue jersey. Great job by the guard in the white jersey, logging around. That should have allowed Kensey to bounce outside on his counter play right there to make more yardage.
Yeah, that was actually Caleb Williams again on the carry.
Caleb Williams. But that's the way the play was meant to be run.
Quarterback keeper here. Seeing some of that mesh type of play. Whether you want to call it a read option or whatever, it's some form of it, and it's a gain of 6 and a first down.
What he's doing right there, he's reading the play side linebacker. If the play side linebacker goes with the motion on the jet sweep, he's going to pull the ball and run the ball back up inside.
And that is going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. St. Charles Catholic continuing to dominate, adding another touchdown on the board. 12 minutes to go here in Laplace. And your scores, St. Charles Catholic 37, Archbishop Shaw nothing. You are watching high school football from Crescent City Sports. All right, so we switch sides. Get set to go here for the final 12 minutes from Laplace. Lenny Van Gilder, Wade Kaiser with you. Matt Merritt, our producer. Mark Paul on camera this evening. And the jet sweep on first down, and another way to get the ball in the hands of Michael Williams. He's going to get about 6.
Well, it's good to see Michael Williams back.
Ian Arnett on the tackle. We've talked about him a couple of times this evening, and looks like Williams may be cramping up again. But Arnett, and you see a lot of this obviously at the Class 2A level, Wade, was an outstanding baseball player. And remember, St. Charles Catholic, with Wayne Stein coaching both teams, won state championships in football and baseball last year.
Has always had a proud tradition in baseball. You know, Frank Monaco was a baseball coach here for a while when I was here on my last couple of years, and he had great teams, and Paul Burgard had great teams. Paul Wagaspak had great teams, and now Wayne Stein has great baseball teams. You know, it's always been a good baseball school. Those guys really take it serious, and then obviously it's always been a great football school. It was good to see Williams back on that play. You know, remember a series ago back in the third quarter, he was limping off, and you know, we were wondering whether it was a cramp or if it had something to do with his knee that he had hurt last year. Shaw needs to get something on the board here in the fourth quarter. They can't walk away with zip.
Find a way to get something. And, ball is out at the end of the play on the run by LaCava. And I believe it went out of bounds.
He's got to do some ball security work. All right, look, the guy can run the ball. He's physical. He's downhill. Let's see how he's holding that football. Well, it's a high and tight right there. He gets a nice hit.
Got a good hit on it.
Got a good hit on it. Maybe a hand got in there and punched that ball out. Still, he's got to hold that thing tight. High and tight. Look, that's his positives. They got two great running backs in that backfield, and they got a nice little change-up when they bring in, Caleb Williams also. Just got to cut out the mistakes.
Williams once again gets it and picked up some nice yardage there.
Nice yardage on the jet sweep.
Gain of 10, and once again a first down. And this is Shaw's best drive since the opening drive of the game.
See the jet sweep right there? He bellies back, but he beats everybody to the edge, and he shows his jets.
So the Eagles looking to get something on the board here. They started this drive back at the 20-yard line, now at the St. Charles Catholic 32. And well defended on first down as Caleb Williams on the carry gets about 4.
Shane Zimmerman came through, hit him in the backfield, but Williams runs right through his arms for a nice little pickup.
2nd and 6 as we are 90 seconds into our final quarter of play this evening. Once again, it's Caleb Williams. I guess we need to specify there since we're seeing Caleb touch it. We're seeing Michael touch it. Caleb got about a yard that time, and it's 3rd down and 5.
Stopped by Michael Hotard from his hybrid linebacker position, defensive end position. Comes off the edge, makes a nice hit right there. You know, again, they have a nice little switch up when they do bring Caleb Williams in to kind of give David Kinsey his little break right there with some fresh legs. They got a nice thing going with their running game.
By the way, an update, third quarter, Newman has taken a 21-14 lead over Hahnville. Well, Cava running for his life. I think he made it back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be 4th down and about 5.
Had a lot of penetration that time from the Comets. Brought a little blitz off the edge. Didn't allow LaCava to set his feet. He had to scramble out of there real quick. 4th down, you got to go for it. It really doesn't matter at this point for Shaw. Down 37, they got to do something.
You got to go for this.
Right.
Obviously, it's 4-down territory. Looks like they moved it back to the 28-yard line, so officially a loss of 1. 4th down and 6. Line to make is the 22-yard line. They will run it with Caleb Williams. Did he get there? I don't know.
I think he's going to be shy by about a yard.
And the Comets get a stop with 8:55 to play.
All right, we got some new jerseys, I believe, coming on the field for the Comets.
If it was raining, you could certainly see the, but it's everything's staying pretty clean out there tonight as St. Charles Catholic will take over at the 23-yard line. 8:55 remaining in this one. Still Anthem on a quarterback, but you're right. You are seeing some different other faces out there. Good penetration that time as on the carry, that was Skylar Edwards, the freshman running back, getting a chance here.
Skylar Edwards, 2 backs in the backfield. Jackson Monica in the backfield again at fullback, and we got an answer to my question. That's Ty's son. My goodness, I'm getting old.
Yeah, well, that means you're now calling the games of sons of players you coached.
Well, look,
you've done that once or twice.
Right, we've done that, and I've coached players, sons of players I've coached, and now I'm calling them. My goodness gracious, that's Ty's boy. Wow.
2nd and 14 ball at the 19-yard line. Try to pitch it around the right side, create some room to run. A nice job that time getting his shoulders squared up. That was Edwards on the toss sweep, got about 6.
The old toss sweep, he got his shoulders out there nicely and got downhill as fast as he possibly could.
If we were at USC, they call it student body right.
There you go. He's going to be a good one, Skylar Edwards. He's only a 9th grader.
You got 2 seniors getting the bulk of the carries. He may be the guy next year. Jackson Monaco will be back as well. He's just a junior. On 3rd and 8, Edwards looking for room to run. Won't get to the 1st down marker. About to the 29, give him 4. So 4th down and 4 at the 29-yard line, and you would think this is punting territory. Yep, the Comets are huddling up on the near side to send the punting unit out.
They're going to let the clock run for a while before they shoot
absolutely.
One out there.
So Bertucci
he's had a nice night punting the ball.
He has. We talked about the special teams. It's been a big factor in this game. Williams on the return trying to get somewhere. Still trying to get somewhere, running in the wrong direction. Can he find some space? He actually ended up running into his own man, and that slowed things down at the 30-yard line.
Trying to make something happen.
And at this point, look, you can't fault him for trying to do that. But he picked this thing up, at the 39-yard line. Ends up being a loss of 9 on the play.
Well, he's trying to get something to happen, and he just, he's surrounded by blue jerseys with no place to go.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Quick Lane services all makes and models, batteries, tires, oil changes, and more, all done quickly while you enjoy some popcorn. Like Ronnie says, must be a reason.
Must be a reason. Is it the popcorn?
Might be. Enjoyed some popcorn over there before. Getting an oil change.
There you go.
So from the 30. Might be Shaw's last chance to get something going offensively this evening. LaCava drops it again and will lay down on it at the 25-yard line.
Oh, my goodness.
And that is, look, you get, like baseball players. I mean, sometimes it's, sometimes it's the throw, sometimes it's the catch, whatever it is. I mean, I looked like it hit him in the breadbasket. I don't know if he's, dealing with an issue with a hand. We don't know the circumstance of that, but that's obviously a situation where you've got to be able to.
Yeah, got to get it fixed.
You got to get that fixed. Yeah. Some way, shape, or form. It's going to take us to the 6-minute mark and our final hydration break of the evening. So we mentioned next week we will be at Hahnville. Mandeville-Hahnville, good non-district Class 5A showdown. Hahnville hanging in there with Newman tonight. Good one, 21-14. The Greenies lead it in the third quarter, last score we had.
Well, that was definitely a big test for Arch Manning and the Newman Greenies,
Meanwhile, Mandeville playing Denham Springs tonight. They were trailing 14-7 at halftime on the North Shore. Mandeville with a new coach this year in Brent Indest.
Yep.
Or check that. I'm sorry. Brent Indest is now at Lakeshore because Craig Jones is now at Mandeville. Let's get that right.
There you go.
Get my North Shore schools there confused. There was a lot of turnover over there.
Dude, your phone just started buzzing.
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
My long friend, Brett Indest, coming over from the New Iberia area.
Pass on second down is caught out past the original line of scrimmage. That was Gavin Richard on the catch out to about the 34, maybe the 30. I'll put it down at the 34-yard line, a gain of 9.
Yeah, Brent Indest, like I said, coming over from the New Iberia area where he spent many years coaching. And I go way back with Brent Indest. He's a fine football coach. Lake Shore's got themselves a fine coach when they lost Craig Jones over to Mandeville, who is also a great coach, and he'll do a great job in Mandeville.
Third and 6. LaCava will waggle, trying to stay alive with the play. Stays on his feet, tries to come back to this side. Not much room to run. A host of players there, and LaCava lost his helmet. And all of that scrum trying to get him to the ground.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just an upset young man, and
I'm sure it's just frustrating for him.
He's frustrated, and so is the whole Shaw Eagles. He's going to have to come off for a play.
Well, it's fourth down. I don't know if they were going to go for it in this situation. And that might help dictate the situation as well. And we've got a stoppage.
Tonight's fourth quarter sponsored by Patricia Trish and our Blue Athletic sponsors. Quarter sponsored by longtime educator Patricia Trish.
So fourth down and 4.
District 3C. Thank you, Ms. Trish, for your support of St. Charles Catholic High School. And our Blue Athletic
At the 36-yard line, and it looks like the punting unit is going to come on the field. We got an injured player on the far side being tended to.
Well, there's a lot of frustration over there with those guys in those white jerseys and white helmets, and, you saw that at LaCava right there. They just got to regroup. They got to fix the issues and come back and play next week. I keep saying that, but that's the only thing I can say because it's the truth.
Right.
These things are going to get addressed. Look, I've been on the end of that 37-0 right now. I know exactly how he feels. I've also been on the other end of the 37 to nothing, right?
Sure.
So, and the problem is walking in after a win 37 to nothing, that's as convincingly as that, is making sure your kids understand we weren't perfect, right? So we got to go in there and we got to break that film down and we got to grade that film and we got to find the things that's going to make us better the next week, because your opponents change, situations change, but you're still you as a team.
And that's Kyle Cannon being helped off the field, and he is needing some assistance to make it back to the near sideline. That's not something you want to see if you're a Comet fan or
let's hope
a
he's
football fan, period. This is an outstanding player. You hope he's okay. That was one of the things that I talked to Wade Kaiser talked to Ryan Manali about after the game, Wade Kaiser.
There you go.
But, you know, a perfect world in week one is you win and you leave with a bunch of coachable moments. And he got both of those last night.
Coachable moments, that's a great term. Teaching moment, another great term. Because you are teaching. That's what coaches are. You're teachers. Coaches are teachers. Teachers are coaches, right? And you do not let minutes pass when you have a chance to teach a lesson. Seconds pass when you have a chance to teach a lesson. Sometimes it's soft, sometimes it's hard.
Blocked. Another big play in the special teams for St. Charles Catholic, and they get the ball at the 23-yard line. With 4:32 to play.
Didn't have a chance to get the ball off. Guy in a blue jersey had his hands all over that within a minute. Didn't get his number. He pops through there. Nobody touches him, and he's right on top of the punt. 4:32. Should see, again, some new jerseys in here for the St. Charles Comets.
Once again, it's
looks
the
like
freshman at running back, Edwards.
Looks like a young offensive line. Here comes a new quarterback.
And a new quarterback in the game as well. That is Brady St. Pierre, the junior. You were mentioning the Shaw schedule. They've got 3 straight at home beginning next week, starting with the Kincaid School from Texas, from the Houston area. And then now the Megaphone has become a non-district game, moving down to 4A. So it's Shaw and Rummel in week 3, and then they host Bonneville in week 4.
I'm glad that Megaphone game is still being played.
Oh, that was very important to both schools that still happened.
You know, that's just a tradition in the city. That's the tradition between Jefferson Parish, West Bank, East Bank Catholic schools.
Two schools that started in the same year.
2 schools in the same year, correct. And a long, long history in the Catholic League.
No doubt. So a gain of 1 for Edwards. It'll be second down. Or check it. Make it a gain of 2. It's second down and 8 at the 22.
Yeah, these guys want to play hard right now. Mama's out there with their phones taking film right now.
You've got that. And I mean, obviously, look, this is your chance to get in a varsity game for some of these guys. There'll be opportunities along the way, certainly, because this is obviously a very talented St. Charles Catholic team. A great run by Edwards, who continues to churn all the way down to about the 10-yard line.
Well, moms, just relax. You can come back on Crescent City Sports and pick up the replay.
That's it. Watch
and
it
it's
on.
right there, and just catalog it and hold on to it. You get to see your young Comet get to play some varsity reps with 3:28 left in the ballgame.
Comets first and goal at the 10.
There we go. Running a lot of receivers on and off the field. This is the point in time you had to make sure your numbers were right, because guys are coming off, coming on, and sometimes you get out there and you only got 10 because somebody forgets to go on.
St. Charles Catholic has Lutcher coming here next week.
I'm glad that rivalry come back together.
No doubt. Nice run again as Edwards gets it out to about the 6.
You know, that's a great rivalry, the Lutcher-St. Charles rivalry, and I would hope and I would like, maybe I might be speaking out of turn. I would love to see St. Charles Catholic and Riverside get back on the books again.
No doubt about it.
That was a great rivalry when I was here. We were in the district sometimes we weren't, but we always played. Mickey Roussel and I had a great relationship. Our kids fought hard, played hard. And, you know, I just love to see that one get back together again.
I think the biggest rivalry now for St. Charles Catholic, not playing that Riverside game year in, year out, has really become De La Salle. And it's a very good rivalry. We've done that one a couple of times.
Well,
De La Salle comes here in week 4.
And it's usually it's been for a district championship.
Well, right now
right?
it's not. You got
It's
De La
not-
Salle
it's
up
not.
in 4A, so
Right,
it's not.
but there were some years that it was for a district championship, right? So, you know, yeah, absolutely. Those are, you know, games that you want to keep. They're good money games, right?
Yep.
You know, those are things that will help your pocketbook as well as generate
No doubt.
interest
And
with your
the other
fanship.
and the other rivalry, of course, is Newman, and
Right.
that's I believe week 10, and also believe that game is at Newman this year.
You know, they were always in the district, not always in the district when we played them, but we had a lot of great rivalry games with those guys. With Frank Gindusa, who is now at St. Martin's. Tony Reginelli, who's retired.
New back in the game for St. Charles Catholic. That is Matthew Scheck-Snyder, the senior, gets the carry out to about the 10-yard line.
Runs a little ISO belly right there, off tackle. He gets a couple of yards, gets into the stat book.
Hosted 2 home games this week and were 1-1 with a big win over
So it's 3rd down and goal, the ball at the 10-yard line, as we reach the
freshman games start at 4.
under 1 minute mark of this one.
Pack the gym to cheer on our Lady Comet volleyball.
A lot of new faces coming in again. And they got to hurry up to get this one off here. 5 on the play clock, 4, 3. I don't know if they're going to get this off. 2, 1. The play clock expires. Now we'll get a flag for delay of game.
We're just trying to eat the clock up as much as
Well,
they can.
that and
It's just-
certainly you're trying to substitute,
right,
get
guys
other
in and
get
out.
other guys in there, and that's part of it as well.
And making sure you got your right numbers. That's mightily important.
So from the 15, in theory, this should be the last play of the game. And he'll just take a knee. So that will do it here.
Yep, that'll be a wrap. And, you know, again, Shaw's going to have to go home, iron some things out. St. Charles Comet will look at that tomorrow. They'll find the things that are good, the things that they still have to work on, because there's always something to work on, and they're going to get ready to play next week. The thing that is good for both of these teams is they might have got some questions answered tonight on both sides, and they get ready to play again next week for week 2 in high school football.
You do. Week 1 just means it's 1 week closer to week 2, right?
Absolutely.
You got a chance. The most improvement
Hey.
is made from week 1 to week 2.
Hey, that sun comes up tomorrow, the grass is still going to be green, and the football is still going to have laces on it. You got to go back to work.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Wade, it's been a pleasure once again. We will see you next week after a doubleheader week 1. It's been a lot of fun to be able to get this high school football season started on time here this year.
Well, started on time in week 1. It's been outstanding, and then we've seen 4 really good football teams, and it's only going to lay the path for some great football the rest of the season for us.
And maybe by next Friday, we'll even have some answers on what's going on the select, non-select front. Give us plenty to talk about next week. Our thanks to Wade Kaiser, our thanks to Matt Merritt, and our entire crew here this evening. Mark Paul on camera. And once again, your final score here this evening. St. Charles Catholic 37, Archbishop Shaw nothing. Until next week, I'm Lenny Van Gilder. Thanks for joining us here in Crescent City Sports. So long, everybody.